Good evening, fight fans. It is the Radulich Broadcasting Network W2M alternative commentary for UFC 270. Francis Ngannou versus Ciryl Gane for the UFC undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Woo! And I am your host, the mandated reporter, and frankly, I'm mortified, Mr. Mark Radulich, and I am joined by Fight Night Revival himself.
Here I
am. How you doing, sir?
Good. I feel like it may be your mission in life to make me re-watch just like combat sports all over the place 20 years down the line.
I'm here for you.
Like, hey, we're gonna go back and we're gonna watch like Pancrase, and we'll do like the early '90s, and I'll be like, okay, boss rooting for the win.
When I was at Disney this weekend, I was, flipping through my phone while we were online, and I found on the Fight Network upcoming there's a pillow fight championships. I have plans for you. We're gonna watch all the stupid combat sports.
It's that and the wrestling a blow up doll, and I'm all in.
Sounds like a plan. So we are with you all night here on the main card. For those of you tuning in for the live stream, and we are live on Twitch. We are live on YouTube, the W2M Facebook, the Radulich Broadcasting Network Facebook, and we are live on my Twitter, Mark Radulich Twitter. So you can join us there. All but Twitter, you can leave us comments throughout the night, make your own commentaries, ask questions. We encourage you to ask questions, especially in between the fights. In the meantime, let's go ahead. So we'll be with you from the beginning of the main card all the way to the end of the championship fight between Francis Ngannou and Ciryl Gane. And before anyone writes a comment or says, no, we are not going to show any of the fights, that's illegal. But we are here all night commenting on it and giving you our expert analysis, such as it were. All right, so the card is as follows. This is the part of the broadcast where I'm going to massacre everyone's name. We have in the welterweight division, kicking us off, we've got Trevin Giles versus Michael Morales. We've got in the bantamweight division, Cody Stamann versus Saeed Nurmagomedov, the other Nurmagomedov. Back in the welterweight division, we've got Michael Pereira versus Andre Fiallo. And then we have two championship fights tonight, one in the flyweight division, the third of the trilogy, Brandon Moreno versus Deiveson Figueiredo, and then the aforementioned heavyweight title fight between current champion Francis Ngannou and interim champion Ciryl Gane. So kicking us off with the pre-fight analysis here, Dan, tell me, what are your thoughts here on this fight between Francis Ngannou and Ciryl Gane? And it's funny because I was doing some research on this. I've been kind of in and out of the UFC for a little while now, and I was like, oh, why, was there an injury or something? Why is Ciryl Gane the interim champion? And as it turns out, they were supposed to make this fight last year, and I guess Francis Ngannou was allegedly said no, according to the UFC. Francis Ngannou said that's not what I said. But so they went ahead and they made Ciryl Gane versus, I believe it was Derek Lewis, for the interim UFC belt, and then Francis Ngannou came back, and so this fight was made. So we've got Gane coming off a 10-fight win streak and a recent TKO in the third round over Derek Lewis versus Francis Ngannou. How do you see this fight playing out?
I mean, Ngannou got to knock him out, right? Like that's his moneymaker. If he knocks him out in the first 30 seconds, he solidifies himself. If he's not, well, I don't think he's in a lot of trouble. He's got one big strength, and it's putting people unconscious.
Yeah, Francis Ngannou's got that moneymaker punch. Dana White described him as the best technical hard puncher. I mean, I think the online Twitter chatter has been comparing Francis Ngannou to Deontay Wilder in terms of pure punch power. Francis Ngannou won the UFC Heavyweight Championship in a performance of the night, March 27, 2021, against Stipe Miocic, my man Stipe. And he had done a 4-fight win streak prior to that against Rosenstruik, Junior Dos Santos, Cain Velasquez, and Curtis Blade. So, I mean, he's got some pretty heavy hitters on his resume there. He has only 2 losses of recent note in the UFC, especially one against Derek Lewis, and then another one where he was competing for the title against Stipe Miocic. So, the odds are Francis Ngannou is probably going to win this, though I think there's there's some thought that if Ciryl Gane can stay with him for the majority of the fight and can tie him up and take away that punching power, he's got a fighter's chance of wearing him down and dragging this into deep waters, maybe even eking out a decision. But he's got to stay he's got to stay on his feet. He's got to tie those hands up. He's got to make sure that Ngannou does not have a clear, straight punch at him.
I mean, they both like to suck up punches, right? Like, I think I was looking at their stats today, and they're both top 3 for punches absorbed per minute. It's like 2.5 or something like that. They're absorbing punches. The question is, can Gane absorb that? Not volume of punches, but sheer like connective power. Like, you can glance a bunch of blows off, but if they're that hard, everything hurts at some point.
I was telling the story recently. Part of the reason why we do the entire main card and not just the main event is it's almost not worth starting the live stream for the main event when it can be over in seconds. And I submit to the jury Junior Dos Santos versus Cain Velasquez in the very, very first UFC Fox card. Oh, the buildup. Oh, the drama. Oh, it was over in seconds.
Yeah, and if you paid $18,000 for that front row seat, I hope you showed up for the prelims, because otherwise that was the fastest $18,000 of your life.
Can you just imagine being, the guy that pitched doing the Fox deal for the UFC? And it's like, oh, we've got this great, rising combat sport. This is going to put eyeballs on our screen, and we're going to get these, long-term viewers of Fox. And then it's like over in seconds, and you're just having to look at your boss going, give it a chance. Yeah. It's not always like this.
Let's put on the reruns of Thundercats. Here we go.
All right, let's move on to the flyweight title fight. Again, this is the third meeting between Brandon Moreno and Deiveson Figueiredo. How do you see this one playing out?
That's harder. I mean, I think they know each other really well. They both used to train in the same spot, so your coaches know you really well. Moreno's really fast. Figs can switch gears a lot faster. So, I mean, I don't know. That's harder. I think Figueiredo has the win. I think he has more tools in his toolbox, but I'm considerably less confident on that.
I have a sneaking suspicion, especially because it's flyweight, even though both of these guys for that division have pretty hard punching power. I have a sneaking suspicion this one's going to go to a decision. Yeah. Looking back at Brandon Moreno's record, he beat Figueiredo in their last bout by submission on June 12, 2021 in the third round. And then they went to a majority draw, December 12th of 2020. So prior to that, he had 3 wins against Brandon Royval, Lucier Formiga, and Kai Kara-France. And then he had a draw with Oscar Askarov. Meanwhile, back in the city, Deiveson Figueiredo, he had the loss and then the draw to Brandon Moreno. Those were his last 2 fights. And then prior to that, he was on a 5-fight win streak against Alex Perez, 2 fights against Joseph Benavidez. And a lot of these finishes, to his credit, Tim Elliott and Alexander Pantoja. So there's that. All right. What do you think of the rest of this card here going down? We've got Michael Pereira versus Andre Fiejo.
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know those guys nearly as well. So I'm going to abstain on that and then use that to fill in my piece. I'm going to say Fiejo because I think that the little bit of footage that I saw on him before, I think that I like his intensity. So let's go with that.
All right. Michael Pereira here as on a 3-fight win streak. His last fight was July 10th, 2021 at UFC 264. He won a unanimous decision against Nico Price. Prior to that, it was Chaos Williams and another decision, December 2020. And then he had a technical submission before that. That was prior to that, though. He had 2 back-to-back losses in 2019 and 2020 against Tristan Connolly and my man, the Dream, otherwise known as the Nightmare, Diego Sanchez. So that looks to be an entertaining fight at the very least, as we see Trevin Giles make his walk out to the octagon. So let's skip the Cody Stemmons fight for now. We have Trevin Giles here in the welterweight division. He's coming off a loss. He got knocked out at UFC 264 last summer, July 10th, 2021. in the second round. So he's looking to get back on his winning ways here. He had 3 back-to-back wins against Roman Dolage, Bevan Lewis, and the James Krause. Do you know the James Krause?
I don't know James Krause.
I
that's where I'm in the revival phase.
Years and years ago, when I was writing for 411, I used to cover all like the regional events and the like a lot of the Access TV fights. And so there was one regional card that I saw, one independent card, and Outlooks. It was before he was in the UFC. It was the James Krause, and I was like, all right. It's a hell of a healthy ego you got there, sir.
I mean, you could be the little monster, you could be Chaos, or you could be the James Krause.
Right. There's no other James Krause. There's only the James Krause.
Nor anyone volunteering to be James Krause, I don't think.
Anyway, he beat the James Krause in a split decision at UFC 247 on February 8th, 2020. So that's where we got there. There is unfortunately no hyperlink for Michael Morales. So it'll be a mystery. It'll be fun. Earlier in the evening, did you catch the prelims?
Oh my God, Frivola versus Valdez,
like Roadhouse,
psychotic. That was the entire barn or the haymakers.
Yeah, that was pretty sick. I think that was the one. I've been doing some work while I've been watching the UFC pay-per-view tonight on our W2M site, and every once in a while I look up and see what was going on. Like I saw the girl fight. That was the funny thing. Let me talk about that for a second. So the Vanessa Demopoulos versus Silvana Gomez Juarez fight. Holy cow. So Silvana Gomez Juarez is winning the fight. She's pounding the life out of Demopoulos. I'm like, oh, okay, this will be over in a moment. I think like pizza had arrived. I got distracted with something. I look up and the other girl won. And she's like kissing Joe Rogan. I'm like, what is happening here? How did that? She was firmly in command of that fight.
So
and then all of a sudden she lost.
She went from being stacked and pounded to all of a sudden she had the armbar in, and then I was like, uh-oh. And then you can hear her coach like freaking out. He's like, sweep the leg. I'm like, what is this, Karate Kid Part 1? And she sweeps the leg and she's got the armbar in. And then when she sees Joe Rogan, she's looking the other way. Joe Rogan comes in to do his Joe Rogan talk. And she's like, oh my God, it's Joe Rogan. Like the most honest excitement for your victory. I loved everything about it.
She was adorable. I'm gonna have to pay more attention to her the next time she fights. But yeah, how do you feel being the other girl? We were firmly in command of that fight, and she snatched a defeat from the jaws of victory. It was pretty crazy. But going back to the fight you were talking about there, Matt Frivola versus Genaro Valdez. Yeah, man, that they were just winging punches at each other. It was pretty crazy.
I'm always in awe of the conditioning of professional fighters, boxers, UFC guys. Like those rounds are long. In that fight, I felt tired sitting in my chair. I was if any of these connected, there's a full decapitation. It will be the first like flagrant murder.
I believe that was the one where I kept wondering what was taking the referee so long to stop it.
Yeah, and he was not stopping it. Like by the time they were on the ground, I was like, oh, okay. This is going okay.
Yeah, I was like, what are you waiting? There was a point where he was just pounding on him and he was hitting the back of his head because he kept moving. If I'm thinking of the right fight. And I was like, all right, and stop any day now. And he's like, nah, he's intelligently defending himself. I'm like, he's bouncing his head off the canvas like a basketball. I'm not sure that's intelligent, but yeah, I'm not the ref. All right. Yeah. So we have Michael Buffer in the cage right now doing his thing. We are about to get started. I want to remind all of you good folks, all of our friends here that are listening on my Facebook page or the W2M Twitch or YouTube. If you would like to leave us a comment, I check them pretty regularly. You want to make a comment, you want to offer some fight analysis, whatever you want, provided it isn't utterly absurd. And even if it is absurd, but it makes me laugh, I'll go ahead and throw it up on screen. We'll acknowledge it. We'll interact. We're here to have fun. All righty. Here we go. They're making their fighter introductions now, and we are just about ready to get underway with our first fight of the evening.
I was just looking at the odds on that. I didn't realize the odds were dead split on this fight. If I'm Giles, I feel a little bit bad about that. I was like, no, I'm making no here. you're starting fresh.
All right, Michael Morales, they say, is a record of 12-0, stands 6 feet, 170 pounds. Our friend Jason, watching on YouTube from Second and Short. For those of you that are into fantasy football or just football in general, Jason makes some pretty fantastic picks. Check him out on his Second and Short YouTube page, and you can also hear the very same podcast on the W2M network. Friendship is magic.
Woo!
So we want to thank Jason for hanging out with us. All righty. Here we go.
Morales' family feeling good about the whole thing.
All right. By the way, I used to see that referee in Strikeforce. I used to call him Yosemite Sam. He used to have the best. I mean, he still does, but he used to have an even better mustache.
Listen, if I change careers for the 700th time and start becoming UFC referee, the mustache is going full double braids, just like
that. You must do the Yosemite Sam mustache. All right, so you open up with a handful of leg kicks there from Mr. Giles to Morales's outside left leg. Return of a kick from Morales. Giles counters with a right. Ooh, speaking of which, Giles nails him and bounces Morales off the cage.
Jeez. And I was thinking earlier tonight that there was a considerable lower number of kicks than I had anticipated. So I guess here we go.
They are tied up against the fence now. Morales is trying to turn away from the cage, try to get free of Giles's grip. Giles is he's holding on to that right arm of Morales. He's going for a judo trip there, but Morales is able to block, and he's using the fence as leverage.
I'm surprised how quickly Giles went straight for the slow down on it. I thought he would have come out a little bit more explosive, try to get that win back right away.
Well, he's clearly trying to take the guy down. I guess he figures that's where there he is. He finally got it. Gets the takedown off the fence, and it looks like he's in his half guard. Giles is. Giles is looking to pass.
Come on now.
All right, Morales spins him down. Now he's in Giles' half guard. Morales is trying to break free here.
Yeah, Giles pretty patient.
Guess he's figuring he doesn't really want to be on the ground with Giles. But Giles is hanging on to him. I mean, Giles has got a pretty good grip even off of his back there. And and we've come a long way in MMA. It's where it's recognized that if you're attacking off your back, you're still attacking those. It's valid. Those ain't wrestling. You can be on your back. It's fine.
Yeah, as long as you're putting up the aggressive.
They get back to their feet again, and now Morales has Giles against the cage. He's got his back. It looks like Morales was actually looking for a takedown there briefly.
Yeah, this seems a little. I mean, good for Morales. Morales, I think you said that he was a less experienced UFC fighter, right?
I'm just saying that he has I said he didn't have a Wikipedia page hyperlink.
Well, there you go.
That's what I said. But he was coming off a 12-0 record. All right, they finally break apart.
Offensive.
Morales with a half-hearted Superman punch. We are winding down. We have less than 2 minutes left of this first round of 3. So it looks like Giles is not particularly worried about Morales' power. He's sort of hung out there in the pocket. Morales threw some kind of half-hearted testing leg kicks, nothing with a tremendous amount of power behind it, and Giles just sort of shucked him off.
The pace definitely seems more tentative. Definitely feeling out to look for that big opening to make it happen. Less of an explosive barn burner than some of the later fights tonight.
Up. Giles got caught, and Morales is opening up wide on him. He's throwing a lot of punches there. But, clock Giles right in the jaw. Down he goes. Morales is all over him like a cheap suit. It's the ground and pound from side control. And, Yosemite Sam stops it. Woo!
Right.
I would say Giles had that kind of well in hand until he didn't.
I mean, he was confident, but he wasn't the aggressor, I don't think. I think that he missed his opportunity, and Morales definitely took it.
So I love this. He was getting beat upside the head. The referee stopped it. Did a better job than the referee earlier. And then the look on Giles' face, like, I could have kept going.
Giles doesn't even have his arm up on those last like 6 to 8 punches. Like he's not even trying to protect himself.
Yeah, like all the credit in the world for trying to make a show of it, but no, you were done, dude.
We're done.
Speaking of all the credit in the world, go Morales for staying composed in there. He got taken down once or twice. He got a hard shot at the beginning to set the whole sequence of events off, but he stayed with it. He didn't lose control, and he was able to get a first round TKO. So good on Morales.
Family loving life, throwing him the flag.
Gotta have your national pride here at the Honda Center. Oh, look at that uppercut in the replay. So yeah, here comes Giles. He's coming in with a right, and he gets clobbered dead smack in the middle of the face. Morales follows up, throws a hook, tags part of the arm going, as he's throwing. See, okay, I can see why Giles is like, I was protecting myself. Why'd you stop it? But
I think he's got to feel bad too, because just before Morales opens up on him, Giles did have a couple of good shots, and Morales looked like maybe he was shaking for a second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they were until those very last sequence of punches. Giles was very much in the fight. I was actually going to start talking about, as it wound down, that you probably have to give that round to Giles until you couldn't.
I love it when you see somebody say him, take him out. Morales literally gets body checked off the cage.
So if you agree with that stoppage, if you liked it, go ahead and let us know. If you think it was BS and you're with Giles, like, hey, he was still in the fight, go ahead and make a comment. Make your comments. Let us know what you're thinking about this. If you have any thoughts about the fights from earlier in the evening, we'll be happy to hear them. So that's it. That's our first fight of the evening. And now Michael Morales will talk to Joe Rogan as he wins at 406, round 1 by
That's going to be a quicker for Giles. Oh, suck.
As the night progresses, we'll let you know about some other things we're doing here on the Radulich Broadcasting Network on W2M. Daniel Lasby and I were just chatting before the live stream tonight about some more things we're going to be doing. We're broadening our horizons here. We started off just doing boxing. We're adding a little MMA to the mix now. And oh boy, in a few weeks, Daniel Lasby is going to join me to do the Elimination Chamber from Saudi Arabia. So that'll be fun. But before that, in 2 weeks, next week, next Saturday night, it's going to be the Podsman. It'll be Christian. It'll be Chris Bailey and I doing the Royal Rumble alternative commentary. And I'll tell you what, Daniel Lasby, I'm a little sad about that. You want to know why I'm sad about that?
Yeah.
Because that same night, the very same night as the Royal Rumble, Don King is presenting a return yet again to greatness. I know. I wanted to see the Trevor Bryan fight that's gotten the boxing world all in an uproar again. Have you heard about this?
A little bit, yeah. The only way that gets better is if Don King is a mystery entry in the Royal Rumble. A jet flies across the country.
That's just be there for the main event between the two. I think it's either cruiserweight or light heavyweights. I don't remember. And then jump on a plane real quick, and he's the number 30 entrant into the Royal Rumble. That would be fan-freaking-tastic. Yeah. So had we not been doing the Royal Rumble, I totally would have dragged you into a Don King affair, and it would have been glorious.
Oh yeah, I'm down for the Don.
A return to greatness, absolutely. But alas, we'll be doing the Royal Rumble instead. And then the week after that, we've got the Keith Thurman fight. And for those of you that don't know, we've been doing these not live streams. We used to just record them and then release them after. But we've been doing these alternative commentaries for a number of years now. And there were 2 Keith Thurman fights. There was one against Manny Pacquiao, and then there was another fight in recent history. We did alternative commentaries for both of those. They'll be released the weekend of the Keith Thurman Mario Barrios fight. And Daniel Lasby and I will be bringing that to you live. We'll be doing a live commentary for that. And then the Elimination Chamber a week or two later, brought to you by the WWE Network and Peacock, depending on where it is you live in the world. So stay tuned for that. And then hopefully we'll get some really good fight announcements for March. Either that or I'm going to have to like gift Daniel a subscription to DAZN for Christmas. I was all, speaking of which, I was all ready and geared up to cover the Chocolatito fight on March 5th, and that just got delayed today. Did you see that?
Yeah, called off now, right? Called off until at least the summer.
Yeah, I was bummed, man. I was looking forward to that one. I'm generally not a lighter weight class guy, but the two fights I've seen previously between those two were pretty killer.
Right on, man. Yeah, the technicality of the light fighters is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
When I see someone who's my size then stand beside them afterwards, I'm like, oh, they're the size of my child.
Yeah.
It messes with my brain. But until then, they're very skilled.
Yes, when the camera is very close up on them, they look like absolute killers. And like you pan back and they're standing with the, whoever's like doing the announcement, you're like, oof. Well, you're still a better fighter than me, so that's fine.
That's true.
All right. So while we're waiting for the next fight to begin, so how long were you watching the UFC for?
So I used to watch it when it first started regularly, and especially, like I said, Pancrase. I was big into Pancrase with Ken Frank Shamrock and the Lions Den. That was the bee's knees. And then I got out for a while, so I caught some fights here and there. Like I checked out Brock Lesnar for a while when he was in there, and I checked out GSP. Boy, you gotta be a fan of him as a champion. But then I kind of slipped back out of it for a while. I just didn't. I couldn't keep up with Dana's 200 fights in one way or another a year.
It got a little overwhelming, especially like if you're like a multi-sport person. It's a little hard to keep up on all of this. I think like tonight was this. There was a deathmatch wrestling show tonight. There were football games going on. Robert Winfrey, friend of the show, co-host of Damn You Hollywood, and a pretty cool fruit, really knows where his towel's at. He's currently doing live written coverage for 411mania.com. He's absolutely an MMA expert, much more by 100 leagues more than I am. And he's saying the UFC schedule is designed to burn you out.
Yeah, agreed.
And he would know because he has to cover this stuff for a living. Every last fight.
I hope he gets to back away and just be a one sport guy.
Yeah, well, no. Well, it depends on how you consider professional wrestling because Robert got roped into covering wrestling after an unfortunate tragedy a few years ago when 4-1 Wrestling's Larry Zonka suddenly passed away, who covered every single wrestling event on earth.
Oh God.
trying to make up for that was a multi-man job, and Robert became part of the team covering those. So he does coverage for I think it's AEW Elevation. He does SmackDown on Friday. He covers MLW, and then occasionally, against his better judgment and killing a little bit of his soul, he covers Monday Night Raw. And I know when he covers Monday Night Raw because I could actually hear part of his soul die from Utah.
Yeah, you try to capture it in a jar to give it back to him on Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm out there with my butterfly net, and I can see, I see his pain soul ascending to heaven, and I'm like, come back here. He needs that.
I mean, listen, when Freddie Prinze Jr. is giving you a hard time, and as fans, you're like, maybe Freddie should go back. It's a hard time to be a wrestling fan.
But that's okay. We'll talk all about that in a few weeks at the Elimination Chamber in Saudi Arabia. So speaking of the UFC, the next UFC event, which we won't be covering, but Robert will be UFC Fight Night, Hermanson versus Strickland, and that is February 5th, 2022. This is what I was saying before. It's if you watch boxing, the UFC, and wrestling, my God, there's always something going on every weekend. It's kind of hard to know. And then God forbid you watch football. There's or basketball. There's always like something going on Saturday nights. It's hard to know what to pick. That's how we landed on this one because There's a boxing match tonight, I think, on Showtime. But I was like, I'd rather watch the heavyweights than the UFC. I know that's what got me into it. I was a Brock Lesnar guy, and my friends had been telling me I should get into the UFC like way back in the day. So I missed a lot of like the Tito Ortiz era, the early UFC stuff. I'd seen the pre Fertitta Brothers stuff. I'd gotten the UFC VHS tournament tapes, stuff like that. Stuff with Ken Shamrock, Royce Gracie, all them. The one where like the cop won the tournament as an alternate, things like that. So like way early UFC. And then when the Fertitta Brothers took it over, I kind of stopped watching for a while. And then when Brock Lesnar showed up in the UFC for a brief spurt, that's when I got back into it again. I think other than the Brock Lesnar Frank Mir fight, which is I think what started me off, the very first one I bought where I was like dead set on watching every pay-per-view was actually Diego Sanchez versus BJ Penn. That was a fun fight. And yeah, I used to write for 401 Mania for a while. I used to do the coverage. Infamously, I pissed off the entire MMA community once. Because I'll tell you, we're waiting for the next fight here, and we are gearing up for Cody Saman versus Saeed Nurmagomedov in the bantamweight division. That should be a fun fight. But I'll quick tell you this story while we're waiting for them to get in the cage. So it was the Ronda Rousey, I think it was the first ever Ronda Rousey Liz Carmouche fight in the UFC. The first fight that since she came over from Strikeforce. Yep. And the marketing of that fight was very much focused on Ronda Rousey, and like Liz Carmouche might as well have been called pig hostage. It's like she was not so much a person as she was like nameless henchman that Ronda Rousey had to take out. That was how they marketed that fight. You remember, right?
Yeah. I mean, there was quite a while there where like Ronda could do no wrong, even if she wasn't very good at a fight.
Yeah. No, but look, man, she won most of those fights in the first round and usually the first few seconds of the first round. Sure. So good. I take nothing away from Ronda Rousey's talent. It seems a little insane, but aren't we? We all go a little crazy sometimes. In any case,
she's a good package, though, right?
She was what?
She's a good package. She's an Olympian. She's an All-American. Like Dana White salivated when he had the opportunity to market that. She
was the perfect person to bring over the women's division into the UFC. No doubt about that. And I really don't take too much away from Ronda Rousey. But and after this fight, I didn't feel the way I felt about that one. And here's what I'm talking about. The marketing on that fight was, again, less about the competition between Ronda Rousey and Liz Carmouche and more about the fact that Ronda Rousey was a girl. So I can't remember. I saw something and it made me laugh. And from that point on, I just kept referring to the fight as hooray for boobies. And I like, we did a podcast review of it, and that's what I called it. The graphic I used was like, a big blow up of like Ronda Rousey and like Liz Carmouche was like this big. And people didn't seem to enjoy my editorializing of the marketing of that fight, or they didn't get it, one or the other. Either way,
maybe didn't make any friends.
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe though, somewhere Jon Stewart was like, "That's the guy. That's the next guy we need for the writers' room."
Yeah, probably not the right person for the Daily Show.
As this fight gets ready to start, by the way, I just want to say Saeed is the world's skinniest Neanderthal, and I'd see no way that he would win this match.
He has a pronounced chin, for sure. I was so busy telling you the story, I didn't even look at him, and then when you said that, I was like, "Huh, you're not wrong."
Yeah, he's gonna eat this person after this fight.
Cody's
got Cody. His nice little like Spartan saying like "over my dead body" or whatever it is on his on his chest, and so he's gonna eat that first. It's gonna be amazing.
Poor Cody. He's in for a long night or a short night that he's not going to remember.
Who knows? He had some nice talking points earlier in the night, and I was like, okay. He doesn't look thrilled to be in the cage with a guy who looks like he might have lived in the woods his first 15 years ago.
That he clubs his own dinner.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, those Nurmagomedovs of the flying Nurmagomedovs, they are a tough bunch. All right, here we go. Round one of this bantamweight fight. Oi! Nurmagomedov with the inside kick there and a hard right hook. Oh, spinning back fist, spinning kick. Yikes almighty.
Light the fire. Light the fire. Dinner's on.
Inside leg kick there again from Nurmagomedov. Another spinning. This time he went for the spinning elbow. I don't think he got any of it, though. Cody Stamann takes the opportunity to grab the single leg. Funny, I can say that now and it be like an accurate thing, and unlike when I say it in boxing. All right, and Nurmagomedov goes for the trip. Takes Stamann down, but he doesn't keep him there. Nurmagomedov, he tapped. Good night, baby. Right?
What's the time on that? 20 seconds?
So I will usually portion out a 3-minute clip, and I was thinking of like, oh, I should write down the time code because what Dan said about him being a Neanderthal was actually pretty funny. There's no point. Like we took a breath and it was over.
Yeah. And look at him. He just wipes his face. He's like, okay, now I go back to the woods.
To steal the picnic baskets.
Well, like the majority of these fighters, they come up, their team comes up, their like girlfriend comes in, she does her good shot because she looks nice.
This is spinning back fist again.
Saeed's going to put his sweatshirt back on, wander back out. I don't know, maybe sleep in his car. Who knows?
Oh, if he's sleeping in his car, that's sad, especially for a big win like that.
Yeah, he will.
As we see the replay there, Cody was hanging on to that leg for dear life, but you know it was not a great idea because Nurmagomedov rolled through and he got him.
Like I almost was going to say, Cody's holding the center, so I was going to say, okay, well he's holding ground, but that didn't last.
No, sir. Well, that's the second fight in the books, and I'm going to take this opportunity to do something I don't normally get to do on the boxing podcast and actually plug one of our sponsors.
Hey.
And it's so funny because like normally I do one of my funny awkward transitions to Grammarly when we do this, but there is no writing to be had here. Grammarly's not going to make any of this better, but it's still a useful tool. Grammarly's AI-powered products help people communicate more effectively. Grammarly helps you write mistake-free on Gmail, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and nearly anywhere else you write on the web. Grammarly corrects hundreds of grammar, punctuation, spelling mistakes while also catching contextual errors, improving your vocabulary, and suggesting style improvements. To download Grammarly today, go to getgrammarly.com/W2M Network. Again, it's getgrammarly.com/W2M Network to download Grammarly for free. And that's one down, one more to go.
There you go. Grammarly's going to be able to make a nice write-up about this.
Sure.
You're going to write a full paragraph, and Grammarly's going to say, no, you needed 7 words. Here's how it is.
Maybe don't use the word Grammarly's going to say maybe don't use the word Neanderthal.
Yeah, that's probably not appropriate. They're going to say you should use pronounced brow.
I love that one of the sponsors on his shirt is crypto.com.
Right?
Wow. Fantastic. All right. So going back to the calendar here for those of you that are into the boxing that we do. Told you about the Keith Thurman fight. That same night on DAZN is going to be Jesse Vargas versus Liam Smith, according to my records here. Unfortunately, so the next UFC pay-per-view is UFC 271, and that's February 12th, according to my calendar. During the day in the UK is going to be Daniel Jacobs versus John Ryder on DAZN. That's going to be a really fun fight. I will unfortunately be at work. We have a UFC Fight Night 202. Plus, we also have Amir Khan versus Kell Brook. That's going to be on pay-per-view in the middle of the day, the same time as the aforementioned Elimination Chamber. On February 26th, we have Roger Gutierrez versus Chris Colbert on Showtime. I'm on the wrong page. There we go. We have UFC Fight Night 203. And then we have Josh Taylor versus Jack Catterall, which will most likely be on DAZN, but it's showing up on my calendar as Sky Sports. If you can get a hold of that, if you're able to watch that fight, through like American pay-per-view or DAZN or ESPN or whoever's carrying it at the time, absolutely check that out. Josh Taylor's a killer. On a special Sunday show, this one I'm kind of bummed that I'm working for because I this is one of the ones I would have called. Lawrence Oakley is defending his title against Michael, I think it's pronounced C-Slack, on DAZN. That's going to be a really fun fight. I've been following Lawrence Oakley for a little while now. He's good. I'm hoping to see him get some stiff competition this year. Maybe get into a unification title fight. And then March 5th, right now, well, there's nothing because they just called off the Chocolito fight. And hopefully some more. I keep waiting for them to announce anything at all with Tyson Fury. Maybe he fights Dillian White. Maybe he fights Usyk. That's the last thing I heard, is that they're gonna, they may be looking to give Dillian White some step aside money, as well as Anthony Joshua, to do Tyson Fury versus Usyk next, which I don't think that's gonna happen.
It is the Tyson. What's his brother's name? Is that fight with the Paul boy rescheduled yet?
No, right now it hasn't been formally announced, but the last thing I'd heard was Chavez Jr. I think they were trying to make that fight. I think Jake Paul's done with Tommy Fury. This is not the first time they've had to cancel a fight between those two. So I don't think he's interested in scheduling another fight with him. That's the last I heard, at least.
Fair enough.
So we'll see. We shall see. They're showing a commercial now for the Book of Boba Fett. Have you watched any of this yet?
Oh, man. The only one I haven't watched is the one that just came out on Wednesday past, and only because my wife wasn't out.
Oh, you watch it with her?
Yes. So my wife has never successfully stayed awake through any Star Wars movie.
Oh, her and my wife should go bowling.
Yeah, never once. Not a single one. And a couple of them we've tried to watch more than 3 times. But The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, she's all in.
Okay.
So I haven't watched the latest episode just yet, but let me ask you this. What's your take on, so you're of the vintage that would have grown up with the original appearances of Boba Fett in the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Where he is an undisputed BA. Badass of the century.
Okay.
How do you feel about this calmer, kinder, gentler Boba Fett?
Well, unfortunately, I haven't seen a single episode of the show yet.
Oh my God, you're killing me.
I watch them when they all drop. Like it's so hard because like in every chat I'm in, I'm on social media a lot, especially for all the stuff I do for podcasting, and people talk and dissect and deconstruct every episode of everything as it drops, to the point where like I'll go to sleep and wake up and people are already talking about like the new episode of Hawkeye or the new episode of Boba Fett or something, and I'm like, how do y'all have jobs? Does everybody work from home now? What am I the only one that has to leave his house to go get a paycheck?
No, I'm with you, I got you.
How the hell do people have that much time on their hands? So, but even but I tend to watch things when they're done. So does Robert.
You want to be able to marathon the whole thing and know what happened.
Yeah, like I watched Hawkeye in one sitting. It was great, and I really enjoyed it. In fact, we just did a review on it, myself, Ronnie Adams, and Al Sedano of the Warlock and Thanos podcast. And we had a good time. I thought the show was good. I had a lot of positive things to say about it. But yeah, I watched that all like in an afternoon. Same thing with like Loki and Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision. I watched a little bit more broken up just because I'd started it like late in the evening and I watched part of it at work.
Yeah.
They just showed an advertisement for UFC 271. That's a good fight. That's Adesanya versus Whitaker 2. Bobby Knuckles, baby. Woo! I won't be watching though. That is February 12th. And the reason I won't be watching that is because I'll be home watching Marry Me. That's what I'll be doing. Have you seen, you know what that is yet? You know what Marry Me is?
No.
Marry Me is a Jennifer Lopez, Owen Wilson movie that's Universal's putting out. And I believe they're doing it now day and date on Peacock and in theaters. It's adapted from a comic book about a pop singer who marries a guy in the crowd and hilarity ensues.
Yep. Okay, that's a thing.
He's sitting there going, you haven't watched Boba Fett, but you're going to watch Marry Me. Got it.
Okay. No, I mean, listen, you do you. It's fine. I might rewatch The Witcher instead, but Marry Me it is.
We did The Witcher. We covered it. I watched The Wheel of Time today. Or rather, I had it on while I was arguing with your best friend, Chris Bailey, It was utterly distracting me from it.
Sounds about right.
We have a bunch of people watching on various platforms: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. If you guys want to leave a comment, you want to interact with us while we're waiting for the next welterweight fight to get into the cage, be your guest. We're happy to interact with you. Right now, like I said, we're just kind of, I do my best to fill up the time here. It's a little, I was telling Daniel when we did these in the past, I used to be able to stop the recording so I wouldn't have to just ramble in between fights. But this is a live stream, so it's a whole other format that I'm still kind of getting used to. Like with boxing, it's like we turn it on right before the fight starts. We watch the fight, and the fight's over. We stop. I don't have to fill too much time. But hey, trying something new here tonight.
I mean, listen. Here's your next option. You watch Marry Me. You get Sandy to come on. You be Owen Wilson, and he can be Jennifer Lopez. You do a 30 to 50 second scene from the show.
Hey, that's an interesting idea. The next time we do one of these UFC pay-per-views, in between, I'll just start doing line readings for movies.
Drop the wig and dress off for him to be Jennifer Lopez. I can make that happen for you.
Robert Winfrey, helping me out with things to talk about here, says a large amount of first round finishes do make these broadcasts drag. You ain't kidding, Buster. Do you remember? Because again, you've been in and out of watching the UFC, and I remember distinctly. This is going to be old man remembers UFC stuff and eventually calls a fight. But I remember watching and Robert knows the pain of this, the Ultimate Fighter finale broadcast.
Sure.
Where time stopped. There was so much dead time between those fights. And then between the awarding of the trophy and everything. There's Robert. F my life. You ain't kidding, buddy.
It was definitely the fact that the guy who had to present the trophy was like, okay, well, there's 8 rounds. And so he's taking his time, probably having a beer, chatting up the missus selling to him. The fight is over in 4.5 seconds, and they're like, and now to present the trophy. He has to run back to the trophy and carry it from the other side of the arena. And they're like, no, you got to take it out on the golf cart. And so he was like, where's the golf cart?
Yeah. I used to like watching the Ultimate Fighter on Spike. I mean, those were some fun seasons. The season with Brock Lesnar was hilarious. The season with Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate might have been the best trash TV I've ever seen. Oh, yeah. Those two women, yikes. After that was over, I needed Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate to do a podcast together or something.
Well, if you recall, transitioning to wrestling and then back. Yeah. When Ronda Rousey left WWE, in order to prep that relevancy for her inevitable return, her troll game is just on top of the world.
Let me tell you about Ronda Rousey's troll game, because I don't know how many people were watching Ronda Rousey in Strikeforce, but she started in featherweight, and she was on a couple of what Strikeforce was basically the equivalent of their Showbox card. Which I do not remember the name of anymore, but I covered a bunch of them. So her and Dan Cormier were the people they were pushing on those Strikeforce Showbox cards.
Yep.
And she wins a fight. I think it wasn't Juliana Pena. It was gosh, I can't remember the woman's name, but she mangled her arm, as Ronda Rousey is prone to do.
Sure.
And Julia Budd, that's who it was. Challengers. Okay, thank you, Robert. So yeah, it was the Challengers card. So she mangles Julia Budd's arm, something awful. It looked ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then she's like, now mind you, like I said, she has not fought a single bantamweight fighter. She has just massacred every featherweight that's gotten in her way. Sure. And then she gets on the mic and she's like, I'm challenging Miesha Tate for the bantamweight title. At which point every woman in the Strikeforce bantamweight division was like, and huh?
Sorry, what?
Meanwhile, there's Cyborg just waiting in the wings, hey, any day now. And Ronda Rousey's like
salivating. She's
let's come on, not since Gina Carano. Let's do this. Yeah, Ronda Rousey Cyborg, and Ronda Rousey's like, but Miesha Tate. And Miesha Tate's like, there's a line, bitch. And so Ronda Rousey doesn't truck with no lines.
No.
So the best part about this is what I was getting to. So Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate, I think, both go on Ariel Helwani's show, the MMA Hour.
Yep.
This was the funniest that I can remember. This I remember how funny it was, because they had a debate about whether or not Ronda was worthy enough for a title after not fighting anyone in the bantamweight division. And Ronda Rousey was like, "I've murdered everyone that I've ever fought. There's no reason to not give me a title fight." And Miesha Tate's like, "Try fighting in your own division first." And Ronda Rousey's like, basically said, and I think this might have also led to why I was like doing the hooray for boobies thing when she got to the UFC. It's all Ronda's fault. She's like, "I'm hot, you're hot, we're the two best fighters in Strikeforce, we should fight." Sound logic.
White getting his phone, trying to call her now.
Like, how much is Ronda Rousey's contract? How much is Strikeforce?
I don't care.
That's a better deal. Yeah, just whatever. Like, how can I buy Showtime? What is for sale here?
It's the equivalent of Manny Pacquiao in his first like 15 or 20 fights, where he just kills everyone, calling up and being like, "All right, so I need a super heavyweight fight for the belt." Like,
yeah.
Wait, what?
So anyway, Ronda Rousey was so funny on that show. And the line that really got me was, Miesha goes on this long tirade about like, you should earn your title shot. You shouldn't be skipped to the head of the line because you're the most marketable fighter. And Ronda Rousey's like, "I'm here to make money. If you don't want to make money, go be in the Olympics. I did. It sucked." Like, facts, Ronda Rousey. Well done.
Okay. That's fair.
It was such a Scott Hall moment. You either make friends or make money. I've got friends. I'm here for the money now. Yep. It was one of those moments for Ronda Rousey. So yeah, she was hilarious. But that of course started the animosity between those two, and it carried all the way over into them being coaches on The Ultimate Fighter. And you really got to see their crazy come out. It was very entertaining.
Makes for great TV.
It certainly did, Ollie. Gotta write that down in case I want to use that later. All right. So after that long and winding story time with Mark Radulich, Robert, as I was telling that story, weighed in with this. It's a shame that we never got to see Ronda and Cyborg. Hey, Cyborg's still fighting.
Yeah, man.
maybe
think Ronda.
Everybody comes out of retirement, from Mike Tyson to Roy Jones. Everyone. What do you call it? There's that triad combat now where everyone currently in retirement is fighting. Oy. Have you seen that?
I think Ronda's pretty smart. I think she's like, Chris Cyborg right now. She's psycho, and I haven't fought anyone in 5 years, 10 years. Maybe no. My husband can fight her. How about that?
Poor Cyborg. I think Cyborg's still fighting for Strikeforce last time I checked. I haven't watched Strikeforce in Bellator. I haven't watched Bellator in a dog's age.
That sounds right. She's a killer, man.
Jason Teasley telling me not to sing. Was I singing? I didn't think I was singing.
Yet. You probably should.
Maybe in between. Maybe if this is another first round knockout, we'll just start doing karaoke.
I feel like half this card tonight was like, let's find somebody who's pretty and somebody who just looks crazy, and let's put them
that's
Michael Piera is halfway to Sean Spears. Andre Fiallo is like, no one loves me.
Aw. And Yosemite Sam is back.
Yosemite Sam is back. He's like, I can't wait to body check somebody else into the cage and stop this fight.
Who won that fight? Joey Beltran did. All right, here we go. We are ready to start this welterweight fight, the third fight of the main card this evening. We hope you are enjoying our commentary, those of you watching on social media. All right, and Figueiredo comes in, throwing rights and lefts. Pereira circles away. Yep. Figueiredo tried for a kick there. Pereira dodged and nearly hit him in the back of the head.
Pereira's a big-time dancer, right? He likes to muck around.
Yeah, Robert mentioned that at least he wasn't dancing his way to the ring this time. Good to have you aboard, Robert, with your insights. And if you're enjoying Robert's insights, you want to check out his writing, go over to 401mania.com, where he also does a podcast where he analyzes MMA, and it's very, very good. The 401 Ground and Pound radio show. Superman Punch. Pereira comes roaring across the cage.
He's had a couple of those.
Yeah.
He's done a couple backflips in fights too, I think.
Pereira
his
circling
ability
against
to shift gears is pretty great.
Pereira circling along the cage there. Figueiredo is not really engaging anymore. Not like he was.
No. He's definitely just holding ground if he can and just following along. I don't know that that's a great strategy, especially because Pereira seems to be able to go from like stop to go.
Yeah. He seems like he has a more dynamic fighting style, which might be the thing. He might be trying to bait Figueiredo into coming in so that he can counter. Up. Nope, he just caught one off of Figueiredo and bounced off the cage. But Figueiredo didn't follow up. He just sort of let him do it.
Missed opportunity.
Absolutely. A lot of circling.
A lot of energy.
Well, not quite Alexander Houston level of circling against Kimbo Slice, but definitely some circling here.
That's true, and not as smooth actually. Like the Henry fight earlier the night, Henry was doing a great job for his first fight, being able to roll out of things.
Front kick from Pereira, Figueiredo counters, leg kick from Pereira. A little too tentative, I think, for Figueiredo. Not really loving him in the first round.
I mean, it doesn't feel like he's commanding the pace for sure.
Another front kick there from Pereira.
At this point, you're not winning this round on points.
Figueiredo finally backed him into the cage, and he got a good strike on him, but he let him circle out. He's not really pressing when he gets the advantage, and he's gotten it quite a few times here. Yeah, he's caught Pereira.
Yeah, I was going to say Pereira's leading a bit.
Pereira doesn't look like he's got his legs totally under him.
And maybe that's what Figueiredo was thinking. He's like, he's a guy who moves around a lot. I only have to catch a couple of big shots.
Mm-hmm.
Wait for your opportunity.
Yeah, he has 3 rounds to work, so there's no need to rush and do something stupid. Because this guy Pereira looks like he's the type who will make you regret it if you give him half a chance. But I'd like to see Figueiredo maybe try to cut the cage off, not let him circle endlessly like he's been doing.
Yeah, even get inside, get a couple of points. Like, they don't have to be big shots, but like Pereira is setting the tone with the number of connections right now.
Big right from Figueiredo, follows up with the left. Pereira, half-hearted shoot. Figueiredo shakes him off. Pereira, looks like he kicked him in the balls there, but Figueiredo just shook it off. Gave him a little shake and a wink. Ooh, big right there from Pereira, just grazing Figueiredo. We are down to the last 30 seconds of round 1 here. Yeah, How about that? We're actually going to get into the second round of a fight. Oh! And as I say that, it looks like Pereira threw a kick and just slipped, and now Figueiredo's all over him.
He jinxed it.
Yep. Oh, lots of blood coming out of Pereira's mouth and nose.
It's funny. I was just about to say, like, Pereira's going to take the round just on contact, but...
Well, he definitely takes the round.
Last 20 seconds, though.
That's 411 Mania Scott Kachowski would say when judging a round, who don't you want to be in that round?
Oh, God.
I do not want to be Pereira.
Yeah, no, his face is now 30% hamburger.
All natural, baby. Yeah, it looks like he's playing with his nose. It looks like he got caught in the nose a bunch of times. All right. So that was a good first round there for Figueiredo. I do think he has to be a little bit more cautious in the sense of you don't want to let this guy run around the ring on you.
You don't want to, and like, you don't want to lose it on points. Like, even though he had that hot 20 last second, Pereira got he's got those front kicks in. He got some of those glancing blows on the lower. He came in with 2 or 3 big flurries. Like,
All right, here we go. Round number 2. As they advertise once again, Adesanya versus Bobby Knuckles 2.
See how Pereira shakes this off now.
All right. And we see Pereira start off with the 1-2. Figueiredo counters with the right. Left, straight left.
Still not the pace that I would have thought. I would have thought one of them came out a little bit more explosive.
Here's the other thing. Neither one of these guys is trying to take this to the ground.
Yeah.
You know, we're not seeing a lot. We're not seeing any kind of clinching. We're not seeing anyone shoot for a leg. It's been kind of a kickboxing match so far.
Yeah. 3 or 4 of those kind of matches tonight. Not a huge ton of submissions.
Yeah. Oh, Feo got caught. All right. You don't need to do a jumping knee at close range like that. Jumped out of the goddamn cage.
No, he needs a parachute. This is his go-to.
Close quarters combat, fella. I mean, it was nice. It was pretty to look at and everything, but like he was like literally like a half a step away from him, and he does like he's like Jordan and like goes for this giant leap, and it's like Christ Almighty, he's right in front of you. Oh, look at that front roll kick there from Pereira, which Figueiredo shook off, but it definitely like caught him in the head.
Caught him in the head, and like it's pretty.
Yeah, something you don't see a lot of in the UFC. When it happens, it looks pretty cool.
Like it looks like it might have cut him actually on that roll through.
So Pereira using his movement to his advantage and picking his shots, and he's doing really well this round.
Yeah, definitely taking the round at this point.
So far, we're only at 3 minutes here in the second round.
I think this is where Fio has to pick it up, right?
I think so.
He's got to have some sort of counteroffensive here.
Yeah, because right now Pereira's just really taking him apart here. Jumping knee there from Pereira, a little bit more composed and controlled this time. I'm not going to make fun of him. It was a fairly effective knee.
He's still kicking.
Figueiredo is trying to fight out of this clinch, but Pereira is blocking him at every turn.
Yeah. And this is where you talked about Figueiredo having to cut off the cage. Like Pereira's done a good job of getting him into one of the angles and holding him there.
All right, Pereira's now working him against the cage. I'll be curious to see what he does here if he, because he's been halfway effective this round on his feet. Yeah, you just let him go.
Yeah.
Nice little capoeira kick there from Pereira.
He was practicing that in his warm-up.
Yep.
He does have an interesting style between like the Brazilian jiu-jitsu / capoeira and like kind of that Muay Thai with the knees.
Mm-hmm. All right. So he's dangerously close to kicking Figueiredo and right in the balls.
Yeah.
Because that was a lazy front kick.
That'll be the second time if he connects.
Yeah. Oh, knee to the body from Pereira. Figueiredo catches him back. And then Pereira lays in a few more strikes before they break apart.
Figueiredo got to get his hands back up. He's looking a little tentative now.
A lot of movement still from Pereira. He still seems pretty fresh, despite he's taken a fair amount of hits between the first 2 rounds.
Yep.
And we are down to the last minute of round 2. See, neither one. See, I know you don't want to go Donkey Kong and go crazy, but I would like to see them do a little bit more follow-up when they're clearly connecting.
You got to press your advantage.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to go all Pat Barry, Czech Congo in there and then lose the fight, but maybe throw more than 1 or 2 punches at a time.
Like I think
especially when you're connecting.
Maybe at this point for Figueiredo, he's just concerned that if he misses, Pereira's been so fluid on shifting that gear that he's
I'll tell you, that's what I'm talking. Oh, Pereira with the big double leg takedown. That's what I like to see. And Figueiredo is looking like he's dangerously getting out of gas.
Yeah, no.
He's doing some heavy breathing there. He does not want Pereira all over him like this. Because Pereira doesn't have any time to work now, but it sucks to have a guy just kind of sitting on you, even for the last 10 seconds or so. All right, I'm going to have to give that round to Pereira. What do you think?
Definitely, 100%. Especially watching that last 10 seconds. Fio is just like, yeah, I know he's at a gas. Yeah, he heard the block. He's waiting for the timeout, but you're not winning any judges over. You just look like you're hanging out.
Yeah. All right, we move into round 3 now, the final round of this fight. We're 1-1, so whoever wins this round takes the whole kit and caboodle, unless there's some Canelo-ish cards, some clucky.
Considering how Pereira was so bloody after that first one, feels like, yeah.
So, Daniel, you're a part of the Radulich and Broadcasting family now. I have to teach you something. I have to teach you about the legend of Clucky.
I'm super afraid.
So... We have a saying here. In boxing, we talked about the cards are pre-written in favor of Canelo, even if he's not fighting. In MMA, one of the judges is always a giant chicken.
Okay.
Whose name is Clucky.
Sure.
And so if there are some screwy cards, we know Clucky has been selected as one of the judges for the evening.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right. So we'll see if Clucky rears his head tonight. So far, Clucky hasn't had a chance.
Well, yeah, thankfully.
All right, Figueiredo picking up the pace here. It. Yep. We're starting to see some Twitter comments as they're flashing on screen on ESPN, and everyone's got it 19-19.
Yeah, I don't know that I believe.
Though somebody gave him a 10-8 round.
I don't agree with it. There's no chance.
No, I don't think it was 10-8.
But Pereira can start the round, give him a little pat on the back, trying to encourage him to be okay in this round.
All right, we're starting to see a little bit more urgency from both guys, especially Figueiredo. Figueiredo so far is pressing his advantage in this third round. At the very least, he doesn't want to go down to a decision, having not given it taken advantage of every opportunity that he can to do what he can in this fight.
Definitely pressing better.
Mm-hmm. And Pereira just circling, and it's like, buddy, you're running out of runway here.
Yep. And sweating like a government mule at this point. He's moved so much.
Yeah. I mean, those are some pretty good leg kicks, and even if they don't look like they're hard, when you take them, you can. It's a whole other kettle of fish.
Yep.
But just throwing the leg kick out there with no follow up is not going to do him a whole lot of good.
No. But I mean, Figueiredo's still not pinning him to the cage. He's still circling.
Yep. Pereira went for the takedown there, and Figueiredo was able to get away from it. He fell backwards, but he wasn't controlled in any way, and they're back on their feet again. I don't see Figueiredo's got all the urgency in this round. Pereira is doing the same thing he's been doing for the previous two.
Yeah, and
it's not great.
Holds Figueiredo in place.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised to your point that Figueiredo hasn't gone to the ground at this point. At this point, he should be trying to shift the plan, right?
Mm-hmm. I think both of these guys are looking for that flash knockout, and you can't force that. I know it looks cool in the highlight reel. That's your opportunity to win more money for performance bonus and all of that. But if it's not coming naturally, you can't force it. You end up giving away the whole fight.
Right, and if you take a loss on just hoping for that big slug, still a loss.
I mean, that's the thing. Go take him down. Get in there, maybe clinch up a bit, and try to either try to trip him or shift to a single leg.
I'm also surprised for these guys who are big strikers. Like, I haven't seen a lot of guys lock it up tonight and bring like those inside knees.
Pereira was doing that a little bit, but it was more of the jumping knee variety. But you're right. He wasn't doing any kind of like Muay Thai, control of the head and then thrust knees into the abdomen. That Thai plum. I'm forgetting my fight vocabulary. Pretty good left there from Pereira. Didn't get all of it though.
Figueiredo's running out of time. In a hurry.
I don't know how to call this one. Like, I liked Figueiredo there for a little bit, but Pereira had, definitely had some hard hits. I'd almost want to call it a draw.
Yeah, I'd love to see the contact count because it feels like Pereira's throwing more shots, both in the kicks and the punches. They're not great shots, but they're still connecting. And Figueiredo did have that, like you said, he had that brief spike, but now he's just pacing again.
We're down to the last 30 seconds of this fight, gentlemen. Oh, third time's the charm. The 1 in a million shot, Luke Skywalker, right in the hose. Boom. There it is. All foot and heel. So not only did he get his crotch, but he got his toes up in the belly too. Just that whole area got booted in.
Oh yeah.
1, 2, 3. And now a lesson in cups from Joe Rogan.
Deep breathing.
All right. He shook it off. We're ready to go.
Of all the things that Joe Rogan sponsors, I'm surprised he doesn't have his own line of jocks at this point.
Yeah, really. He's only been talking about it for up to 10 years.
Yeah.
All right. Figueiredo, knowing that time is of the essence here, is trying to chase. And then Pereira's still, and I don't want to say it this way, but Pereira's just running away from him, circling. It's like, dude, you quit circling, quit jumping. Oh, now they're going Roadhouse. Here we go. And that's the end. And we go to the judges' scorecard.
I don't think Figueiredo did enough. I think Pereira takes it.
You think so, huh? I don't know, man.
I think Figueiredo had to take the whole of that round, and he spent too much time where he slowed right down.
I would not be completely surprised to see this go to a split draw.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think either guy did enough in that last round to really tilt it one way or the other. I'll be curious to see what Robert Winfrey thinks, as he had to watch this with a acute eye, see which one he gave it to. But I'm standing firm on my draw scorecard.
Okay. I think
you're giving it to Pereira?
I think Pereira's got it.
Okay.
I think while he was definitely flamboyant and a little free with the midsection, he was definitely the aggressor more often than not, and he definitely led the pace more often than not.
For sure. If you're watching on Twitch, we'd love to know what you thought of this fight. Who did you give it to in the third round? I'm dying to know, get some feedback here.
It's probably good they are welterweights. If Pereira was a heavyweight flying around like he did, either his knees would have been exploded by now, or the other person is just full dead.
All right, let's see here. Let's go on Twitter and see where people stand. Wayne on Twitter says Pereira is nuts.
Okay.
Not wrong. Not wrong.
Second round is 56-13 for significant strength for Pereira.
Okay. So I'm a few seconds behind, but according to Fansided MMA, the official result is Michael Pereira defeats Figueiredo via unanimous decision 29-28.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's the way you called it. People are calling that the fight of the night so far. Interesting.
Oh, I don't know that I would have said that. Entertaining, for sure.
It was definitely entertaining. I mean, I'm not complaining about the fight. Yeah, I don't know if I would give it fight of the night, though. All right. So we are now past the midway point on this UFC pay-per-view. We are into our 2 title fights now. This could either go really, really fast or really, really slow. We've got 2 possibly 25-minute fights left.
There's a guy who I follow on Twitter who said that fight was the part of Mortal Kombat where you're just button mashing and hoping for the best.
Special. Yeah, that was a fun fight, though.
And Joe Rogan looking rough.
Joe Rogan's not having a good time of things these days. Have you heard he got himself into a bit of trouble?
I mean, I haven't, but my surprise level is pretty low.
Yeah, I don't want to get into it because I don't want the demonetization bots on YouTube to hit us, but it has to do with a certain pandemic happening right now and Joe Rogan's advice not jiving with what the CDC is recommending.
Sure. I mean, it's Joe Rogan. I'm sure that his advice on many things is like, if you're just not feeling it,
yeah,
battery acid for a car will cure everything.
Here's the thing. We live in a society where it's like, here's the CDC. They have a recommendation. Here's Joe Rogan. He calls MMA and is a comedian.
He also has a recommendation.
And there are guys of varying education levels going, yeah, Joe Rogan. I don't trust the CDC, but this comedian who smokes a lot of weed.
But Joe Rogan, 100%.
Authority. Yeah. But hey, I'm not here to tell people who they should listen to and who they should not. Religion's a personal thing.
Yep, for sure.
Anyway.
For sure.
Is that Brie Larson? Oh my God. I know a guy who absolutely hates Brie Larson. Just thinks she's the worst.
I don't hate Brie Larson.
No, Brie Larson's fine. Brie Larson's Brie Larson's a hell of an actress. She just, she unfortunately took a role in a bunch of movies that she was not appreciated by its audience.
Yeah, you can't win. I mean, Listen, it's like Gina Carano. I love Gina Carano. But Gina Carano does an excellent job of pissing off a lot of people the majority of the time.
To quote Sean Comer on this podcast, Gina, don't mess with the money. Gina, don't mess with the money.
Yeah.
Gina, quit. For the love of Christ, stop messing with the money, Gina. All right, Gina, you're fired. I don't understand why they fired me. What did I do wrong? For the 8th time we told you don't mess with the money.
You had one job, Gina.
Show up to your call time for the Mandalorian and don't mess with the money. All right. Here we go as we show some backstage. So, are they fighting in a kitchen? That doesn't look like a locker room.
Yep, no. Although I got to tell you, I'd be pretty upset if that was my change room and the cooler was entirely empty.
Yeah, I'd be pissed.
I'd be like, of all the rooms in here, I got the kitchen and it didn't even get the full cooler. Come on, man.
Can we not get water in here at the very least? What the hell, man?
Not right.
All right, I am, while we take a brief hiatus here, I'm going to leave it to Dan, and I'm going to get myself a drink. How about that?
Yeah, man, make it happen. I'm going to call it the questionable choice of Modelo as a beverage. And I'm also going to point out that Figueiredo has a wonderful red stripe in his hair again tonight, although that's what he had in his hair when he lost the last match against Moreno. What you going to do? What are you going to do? Who knows? Maybe the right thing for Don King to do next would be to get Brie Larson and also get Gina Carano. And that's the fight that he for his celebrity fight. I'm just saying. You got somebody from The Mandalorian. You've got Marvel Girl herself. Could be an incredible fight. Who knows? That's what I would think.
What would you think? What would you say?
If we got Brie Larson and we had Gina Carano and we've already covered Don King, that's your celebrity fight night.
I don't like Brie Larson's chances in a real fight with anybody. She would literally need to come.
She'll tear your arm off.
I was going to say, Brie Larson in a fight with any professional fighter, she's going to need the power cosmic to help her out because, look, I'm not going to shame her body appearance or anything. She's a perfectly wonderful actress and an attractive woman, but she's also, a slight woman who in a real fight looks like she would get her ass beat in. Mm-hmm. Which, again, she's not a professional fighter, so why wouldn't she?
Yeah. She needs to make it look good. I was also saying, though, Figueiredo got that red stripe in his hair, and I don't think that's a good sign for him. That's what he had in his hair when he lost the fight. Come on, man.
So it's all about the hair dye?
Change up your game.
All right. If you're joining us here as we watch this hype footage here for our flyweight title fight, we'll go ahead and go back to my calendar. If you're just joining us here for the first time on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network, you're like, oh, what do these guys do besides hang out on Saturday nights and do live stream for fights? We do a lot of movie and TV reviews, among other things. We kicked off this week with a 2-part retrospective of the Nightmare on Elm Street series. That was Robert Winfree and Sean Comer. That's up in the archives now. We reviewed Lordy, Abracadaver. You know what Lordy is, Daniel Lasby?
I do.
All right. Lordy is fantastic. And so we're going one by one through their Lordyversity albums that have been dropping. So we covered Abracadaver this weekend. We reviewed Scream 2022 or Scream 5, however you like it. We had re-airs of Ozark season 1 and 2 because Ozark season 4 part 1 just aired on Netflix.
Season, right?
Yeah, this is the last season. This is the first part of it. And don't ask me if I've liked it or if I've watched it because I haven't. I'm good. Jesse and I agreed to wait until the whole thing drops and then we're going to cover it.
Okay.
We did a Superblog team up. Or there was a Superblog team up, and it focused on the great works of George Perez. We specifically compared his illustrated Logan's Run adaptation comic book to the movie from 1976. That was a fun discussion. We had a good time on that. On the Source Material podcast, Jesse and Chris Armstrong looked at the first 6 issues of Brave and the Bold, featuring Batman and Green Lantern. I, however, reviewed Hawkeye season 1, assuming that's the whole season or not. They say they're miniseries and then they end up adding a second season, like Loki. Sure. We re-aired our Battle Beast review, No More Hollywood Endings. And then I did a double shot of live podcasts. First, I had my new best friend, Whitney Seibold from Critically Acclaimed. We had him on to do Mandy, starring Nicolas Cage. Have you ever seen this? Have you seen Mandy?
I don't think I've actually seen that movie.
Imagine the heavy metal like comic magazine come to life, and you're on acid.
Sure. With Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, with Nicolas Cage.
Why not?
Yeah, imagine you did shrooms in a Dunkin' Donuts, and you were listening
inside the machine that makes Dunkin' Donuts.
Okay, Robert Winfree's description of it: acid-drenched revenge story, feral Nick Cage. So we hope you have sold you on Mandy. It's like Whitney Seibold's favorite thing of recent history. So I brought him on to talk about it.
If I may, Robert, when is Nick Cage not feral?
National Treasure. National Treasure and Gone in 60 Seconds. He was not feral. He may have been feral in Bringing Up.
Hold on. Gone in 60 Seconds. He actually has a stroke in the middle of the movie when he's like, "Let's ride."
Let's go. Okay. He's giving. So you've now tweaked Robert's nipples. He's now doing a list of things he's not feral in.
Okay.
He named Snake Eyes and Con Air.
Okay.
All right. Moving on from Nick Cage's lack of feral. Okay. Well, it definitely wasn't feral in Willy's Wonderland. Catatonic, but not feral.
Okay. That's fair.
All right. Moving on from this. And then in the evening time, I don't know if you've heard of this show, but this thing is nominated for awards. It's just amazing writing. It is all right, Robert. We got it. He's still going. It's just one of the great works of literature captured on TV in our time. It's Dummy, starring Anna Kendrick. Do you know what this is?
No, but I know who Anna Kendrick is.
It's Anna Kendrick palling around with Dan Harmon's sex doll, and the sex doll talks to her and helps her through her mental health issues, and it's a meditation on feminism. It's fantastic.
You spend your time in the most interesting ways.
If you can go on the Roku website and watch this, and it's 90 minutes of your life. It's the best 90 minutes you'll ever spend.
Listen, I was legit going to pitch Steel Panther for your metal albums review section.
We've done them all.
But I feel like I'm swinging too low at this point.
Yeah, so first of all, we've done like the last 3, and we'll continue to do any more that come out. Those are all up in the archives. If it's smutty, I'm pretty sure I've covered it.
Sure,
anyway,
sure.
So yeah, Dummy was fantastic. It was so funny because I watched it with my wife, Jason watched it with his wife, and Jesse watched it with his, and 2 out of the 3 wives were like, "This is not for me."
Yeah. I thought you were going to follow up with 2 out of 3 of us had to discuss divorce.
My wife thought it was great, but listen, she's not perfect either. We watched Secretary last week, and she was like, "What is this artsy fartsy bullshit you're making me watch?" I think it's James Spader doing BDSM with Maggie Gyllenhaal. Where do you get artsy fartsy from this? And she's like, "Meh, you and your independent movies." I like The Money Pit, is what she said to me. So moving on. So that's up in the archives now. We had a really fun discussion, all things considered. And we had a re-airing today of our Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll review from a few years ago. That was me and Pat Mullen. We actually listened to the music in the show. We talked about the show. We kind of had a Metal Hammer of Doom / TV party split 7-inch. It was a lot of fun. This week coming up on the Radulich Broadcasting Network, we have a comic script for The Kitchen. We compare the comic to the movie starring Melissa McCarthy. A couple of years ago, my wife and I discussed the 2014 season finale of The Big Bang Theory, and then we went into a discussion defending the series from its detractors, many of which are my own friends. So we spent an hour telling them they're wrong. It was fantastic. Okay. It was the best hour I ever spent with my wife.
Hey, man, make it happen.
Myself and Ronnie Adams are going to be doing a triple feature of The Power of the Dog, The French Dispatch from Wes Anderson, and Cop Shop.
Okay.
And then the aforementioned Robert Winfrey and I will be doing a review of Munich, The Edge of War. We'll also be doing our end of the year wrap up. We're going to talk about all the money Spider-Man made. All the money.
All of the monies.
We may or may not be doing a live stream of AEW Beach Break. I know that I'm going to watch it because I want to see Adam Cole and Orange Cassidy in a lights out match. Those are always fun.
Yeah.
So if I can get someone to do a live stream with me of AEW Dynamite, I'll do that. Otherwise, I'm just going to watch it. And then after which, myself, Jesse Starcher, and the Metal Coop, Robert Cooper, are going to review the Night Flight Orchestra Aromantic 2. The Mania of WrestleMania moves on. We're up to 14, 15, and 16 now, or WrestleMania 2000. We're going to be joined by a 4th person on the panel this time, Stuart Lang, formerly of 401mania.com. Chris Bailey, and Pat Mullen and I are going to bring you all the stories throughout the Attitude Era, and we're going to talk a little bit about those WrestleManias in between. And then finally at night, myself and Ronnie Adams, yet again, will be reviewing The Wheel of Time from Amazon Music. And then over the weekend, so this will be fun, actually. Gavin Napier is going to come out Friday night, and we're going to watch the Royal Rumble 1992, just the Royal Rumble match itself. He's a Ric Flair fan. His wish list was that someday we would do a commentary on the Royal Rumble. So we're going to do that, and that's because the Royal Rumble is the next day. So we'll be doing the Royal Rumble commentary, and then there'll also be a video games trivia currently recording. It'll air a week from tonight. So that's what's coming up in the immediate future on the Radulich Broadcasting Network. All right, Robert Winfrey is very excited. Woo! Flyweight time. 90-pound guys whacking each other about the head. Fantastic.
I mean,
maybe they're 115 pounds.
Mark, let's talk here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, but the last time I was 90 pounds, I may have been 10 years old.
I was going to say, Reagan was in the White House.
Sure. Tearing down walls single-handedly.
Nancy Reagan was telling us all to just say no to drugs.
Yep.
There may or may not have been a wall in Berlin.
There definitely was.
Yeah, flyweight. Hey, look, there's gonna be a lot of. If this is anything like the flyweight fights I've seen in the past, it's gonna be a lot of moving around. This is gonna be a frenetic fight, to say the least.
Sure, I would be moving around a lot more too if I weighed 90 pounds. Pretty sure I would weigh more than that.
Now they weigh 124 according to the UFC. I'm looking at it right now.
Okay. Still 124. Exactly 124 each. That must be their like weigh-in weight.
124. If a strong wind blows through, they're going to fly away to Oz.
They're very muscular, though.
No doubt. Look, I'm sure they can kick my ass. I'm not
100%
commenting about their fight acumen one way or the other at this point.
They cannot rock Bruce's blazer, but they can punch well.
All right, here we go. Here at the Honda Center, UFC 270.
All right, Herzog. Make this happen, buddy.
Let's get on with it already. Wouldn't it be funny, though, after all that, after like, all right, let's settle in for a 25-minute decision here. Let's go. It's going to be a flash knockout.
Yeah, because
over in seconds.
The first fight was a big knockout, right? Figueiredo one was a knockout, and the one that he lost was the submission.
You are. It was a submission. The last time they fought was June 12th, 2021, and Figueiredo lost by a rear naked choke.
Yeah, that's the one Moreno won. Moreno won with the submission.
Yep. And before that was a draw.
I was like, no, not the hair.
It's his only weakness.
Come on, Samson, you got this. I mean, I will say this with no context whatsoever. Moreno looks focused and ready to go. Figueiredo looks like he's hanging out at the 7-Eleven.
I think the word you're looking for is relaxed.
Yes, relax. Sorry, relax.
Yeah, Moreno looks like he is ready to just tear it up in there. He is very focused. All right, we are finally ready to begin as they take the center of the ring, the cage. Golden Boy on Twitter says the co-main is going to be a banger. Well, we hope so.
Let's see it.
Let's go. Let's get it.
Alrighty. Brought to you by Manscaped.
All right, we are finally underway here. Top of the first round of this 5-round title fight. All right, we've got some feigning going on. Kind of feeling each other out. We finally get some interaction. Figueiredo goes for a kick. Follows with another one. Does a spin-a-rooney. Spins around. Pirouetting. Oh! Moreno caught him. Now they're clinched up against the fence.
mean, you got to think that's what Moreno wants. He wants to go for that naked choke, make it happen again.
Absolutely. Figueiredo trying to figure out what to do next here. He's just sort of hanging on to Moreno. Moreno's throwing some knees on the inside, using the clinch pretty well. Moreno trying to dump Figueiredo. You see, he's got his hand in between the legs there. He's looking to do a scoop.
I mean, Figueiredo doing a good job of like cutting him off, though. It looks like he may be the physically stronger of the two.
Mm-hmm. But you got to use this time. You can't just hold them there.
Just one time for sure.
Right.
I mean, they brought in a couple of knees, but this is not exciting by any means.
No. They're not even not exciting. Like neither one of us is really advancing their position at all. You got to work, and you can't just stay clinched against the fence. You got to do some work, either work towards a trip or break yourself free, or try to grind out some punches and knees in there. But
and it's not like you're in round 3 and you think like maybe they're borderline exhausted and I'm just waiting for an opening to dump them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, I don't know what Figueiredo thought he was trying to do there. Like he worked his arms up, but I'm not sure what he was trying to go for, and Moreno just ended up pushing him off of him.
Yeah. It's interesting that Figueiredo wouldn't have gone back to the striking. It seemed like that's where he had more success in the last couple of fights.
A lot of clashing strikes here between the two. They both keep going at the same time. All right. Figueiredo comes in with a kick. Moreno counters. 1-2 punch. Moreno does not truck with Figueiredo, man. He's like, come on, bring it. I don't sweat you.
Yeah.
Oh. Chopping leg kick there from Figueiredo.
Oof. Couple of moments where Moreno looks a little cocky. I don't know, man.
Leg kick from Moreno. He's sticking his chin out there. I'm gonna laugh if he gets knocked out. Moreno.
Yeah, definitely, because he's lost his wheels a couple of times, not through any contact, just slipping up.
All right, now he's trying to bait Figueiredo. He's
dangerous. That's dangerous.
Yeah. All right, he comes in swinging. Figueiredo's able to get close to him. He's got him around the waist. Yeah, takes him down. He's got his back. Now Figueiredo's got to work for something.
There you go. Come on now.
Looks like he's going to... No. He tried to roll with him, but Moreno got free. Looks like he was maybe trying to roll into a rear naked choke, but he couldn't get anything. So Moreno's back on his feet again, and he's swinging. Yeah, Figueiredo doesn't seem to want to have a stand-up fight with Moreno anymore. I've seen him now. I'll tell you what, though, those leg kicks are really chopping down Moreno. Like, if he continues to do that, he's going to have some pretty significant welts on those legs.
Yeah, long term.
Spin kick there, and it gets Figueiredo in the heel. Oh, inside leg kick there from Moreno, and Figueiredo almost got his legs chopped out from under him.
Yeah.
Oh. Moreno got caught goofing around.
Yeah, he's real cocky.
Figueiredo kicks him into the fence.
There's like a 6-year age difference. Is that something like that, I think?
Yeah, I think it was like 28 to 34.
It looks exactly like that right now. Right now, it looks like your kid who thinks that he can take the old man, which you might.
How do you feel about that round?
I mean, I feel like it was close because there's a lot of moments where they didn't do a lot. I would give it just slightly to Figueiredo.
Okay.
But, I mean, that's pretty tight. I don't think that anybody really broke out from the other there.
Yeah, I'm struggling with this round, as closely as I was paying attention to it. I mean, Figueiredo's best weapon in that first round were those leg kicks.
Agreed.
And Moreno, I think I agree with you. I think Figueiredo edged out that round. I think based on the leg kicks, and then he got him down and took his back. Whatever they were up against the fence, neither one of them really had any advantage. So all I have to judge it on. And then Moreno didn't do anything nearly as effective. But he landed a couple of punches to the head, but I don't think it's enough to take that round.
No, a couple of jabs, but also like I would argue, like you said, they threw at the same time. Figueiredo got at least a couple back at the exact same time.
Robert Winfrey weighing in with his scorecard. He's got a 10-9 Figueroa.
Yep.
All right, we are in round 2 here. Kevin Aioli gave it to Moreno, 10-9.
Okay.
Aaron Bronstetter gave it 10-9 to Moreno after 1. But Paul Fontaine says 10-9 Figgy. Is that what we're going with? Calling him Figgy? Like the pudding?
Oh, yeah. Quite a few people call him that. I mean, of all the names that you could give yourself, I don't know that that's the most.
I would like to be named Pudding, please. Thank you. Good leg kick there. Good chopping leg kicks from Figueiredo. They are going to win this fight for him, if anything.
And he's been able to weather the storm. And like Moreno's couple of bursts, he's been able to weather that. So I thought he was going to go for – I thought you called it that he was going to try to take Moreno down early and work the ground. But we're back to strikes.
Leg kick there from Moreno. Outside.
I'll be honest. I'm a guy who always looks a confident fighter, but I don't love a cocky fighter if you're not backing up. And right now, Moreno's super cocky.
Speaking of cocky fighters, man, Figueiredo went for a kick. Brandon Moreno caught it, and he went for the trip there. And my problem is, like, there's some halfway decent takedowns in this fight so far, but neither one of them is able to do anything with them.
Yep.
Good inside leg kick from Figueiredo, and every time he makes contact, just about with Brandon Moreno loses a bit of his legs underneath him.
He's not going to be able to stand by the third round at this point.
They are exchanging rights and lefts to the face.
Takedown's the highlight of the moment at the moment.
Yeah. Front kick there from Figueiredo.
Yeah, that's what I would stick with. I would just keep chopping down the trees, man. Just keep taking his legs out from under him until he can't. When you go to do the takedown,
well, one thing you got to be careful with that, though, is if your whole offense is kicking, eventually, you're going to get taken down doing that.
No, I agree, but there's going to be a point where if he shifts to the takedown, Moreno's not going to have the legs to be able to defend against it.
Good combination there from Moreno. He went to the body and then straight up hook to the head. Moreno threw a punch there and was a little off balance.
There's a lot of fake outs.
So Moreno is 23 out of 78 insignificant strikes, and Figueiredo, I think they said, was 26 out of 43.
Okay. I mean, I'd give this round to Moreno at this point, pending what happens in the next minute.
Yeah.
That big takedown is going to be the highlight, and that's going to give him the edge, I think.
Figueiredo goes to the body there, and even though it looked like Moreno blocked it, he seemed to have winced. Yep.
Taking their tolls.
Figueiredo landed, and then Moreno came back with a combination of his own that seemed to have done more damage.
Like, I'm guessing at this point that Figueiredo's plan is just to like wear him down, but you're running out of time.
Less than 30 seconds on the clock. He shoots for a single and half-heartedly does nothing with it and then gives it away. I mean, you're not going to get points for that, for a failed attempt at a takedown.
Failed attempt with no follow-up is not winning round.
Yeah.
Especially
because you're not kidding with Brandon Moreno's cockiness. He's so goofy in there.
Yeah. That's Figueiredo's third attempted takedown that he didn't get him down on this round.
I'm going to go with Brandon Moreno 10-9 on that one. So I have it 1-1.
I agree.
We'll see what Robert Winfrey has to say out there in the in his coverage of UFC 70. What was that?
Neither one of them looks too tired. Like, you'd think they'd be able to pour it on for this third round. Figueiredo got to go out strong, and I hope that Moreno keeps being cocky so he leaves him open.
So in the replay here, they had a halfway decent scramble, but again, neither one able to have a clear extended advantage in any part of this first two rounds.
Agreed.
We're talking, when one of them gets an advantage, it's by a nose and it doesn't last long.
And yeah, they can't capitalize on it. At least it doesn't seem like it, because that takedown by Moreno was good. He caught the leg and he dumped him, but he didn't drop on top of him and take the back.
It's good to know that we're on the same page as Robert Winfrey. He has it 19-19 after two, but they're close rounds. We agree, Robert Winfrey.
Agreed.
Of the Screaming Boy podcast. No, he's not the Screaming Boy podcast. That's Ronnie Adams. I'm just going to start assigning people to the Screaming Boy podcast now because it makes me laugh.
Meaning Nicolas Cage podcast.
Nicolas Cage of the Screaming Boy podcast.
Perfect.
All right. We are into round 3 here. Oh, Brandon Moreno comes in for the attack. Figueiredo dodges and he takes him down. We have a significant takedown here with plenty of time to work. Let's get those hooks in, Figueiredo. Let's go. Don't let Moreno stand up, you nit.
Come on.
Good grief. We're back on our feet again.
That was your woodshed moment, man.
That was. He let that one get away from him. And without really even trying, I mean, did you see a reason? Was Moreno doing anything on the ground?
He just muscled up. There was no reason that he should have been able to get his legs under him.
Right. And Figueiredo just let him go. Like, he didn't really even try to, chop the legs when he had him down there or maybe try to shift positions. You're right. Brandon Moreno just kind of stood up.
Yep. I mean, I'm sure it's part of it.
Oh! Big left from Figueiredo, and Brandon Moreno goes tumbling backwards. Figueiredo tried to follow up, but Brandon Moreno got his wits back under him real quick, and he stood back up. And now, they are tagging each other in the nose.
Oh, my God. Bing bong. 30 seconds of facepalm. Can't be good for anyone.
See, for every time Figueiredo starts to edge himself ahead of Moreno, Moreno comes back with some fire and keeps it going.
That's got to be the key.
You see that Brandon Moreno's eyes? Looks like he's got a bit of a mouse above his left eye.
Yep.
Oh.
He's taking a couple of big shots.
I fear for Brandon Moreno's legs. He's been chopped down quite a number of times in these first 3 rounds.
Well, he's not dancing the same way he did. They're definitely choppy steps that he's taking now as he circles.
Mm-hmm. Moreno tagged Figueiredo with the left, and he missed him with the right, and Figueiredo was able to step away, and he shook it off and laughed. This will probably got to be a little disheartening for Brandon Moreno.
Yeah.
We got the crowd chanting. They're into it, presumably. They're having a good time with this fight. It's always nice to see because flyweight doesn't get a lot of love from anyone.
Kick. It's real tight from the score, though. Like, if it goes to the judges, it's really close.
Yep. Brandon Moreno able to tag him there, and Figueiredo. See, the problem is, like, every time he gets a significant strike onto Figueiredo is able to get away, and so Brandon Moreno can't really follow up as much. Right now, Moreno's got the better odds. He's negative 255 to Figueiredo's plus 185.
Okay. Interesting. He's got to have more headshots, so.
Big left hook there from Brandon Moreno.
I mean, it is close, but I don't want to see Moreno take a straight shot to the head. He doesn't look like he could hold it off.
I would really appreciate it if Figueiredo would, I don't know, not get mad. I don't want him to lose his head in there, but stop smiling.
Yeah.
Like, that's annoying.
It's funny how the cockiness has shifted gears.
Yeah, really. But not with any, like, real, like, oomph behind it. Like, it's not like now Figueiredo's like, oh, I've got you figured out, and he's like taking the lead in this fight.
You're not dropping bombs all of a sudden because you know how it works.
No, you spoke too soon, Daniel Lasby. Figueiredo just walloped Brandon Moreno, and he went down to his knees.
Okay, here we are.
I think I might have to give that one to Figueiredo there. I think he stole it.
Yeah. Oh, that was a save by the block right there.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting to see how wobbly Moreno comes out of the corner.
Yeah. I'll be curious to see what his confidence level is like. You know, as Figueiredo had a little bit more time to work there, that might have been the end of him at the end of that last round.
Agreed.
Yep, he does have it. Yeah, they're working on the mouse over his left eye now.
He got ice bags on the chest, ice bags on the face. He got the cold block over his eye, ice bag on his neck.
Yeah, that's a good hit from Figueiredo. Yep, dropped him right as you were saying.
Sportcaster's jinx. Don't drop a bomb.
Bomb.
And he went right over it. He took the jab and went right over it.
We are into the championship rounds here, round 4. And I'll tell you, Figueiredo's still got some pep in his step.
Yep, for sure.
All right, Robert Winfrey weighing in with his scorecard. 29-28, Figueiredo. That's where we have it. The third, the most definitive, given the knockdown. We agree, Robert Winfrey. Take a drink every time I say we agree, Robert Winfrey. All right, spinning whatchamacallit kick there from Brandon Moreno. Another chopping kick, preceded by a punch there from Figueiredo. Brandon Moreno throwing very awkward punches, missing both times.
Figueiredo looks like he's got the confidence now. He looks like he's just waiting for his moment.
Yeah. Good leg kick there from Brandon Moreno. Spinning kick there from Brandon Moreno. Tries to kick to the abdomen. Figueiredo blocks it.
Like Figueiredo got that right hand out leading. It's like he's just waiting to be able to grab him and give him a good one.
Brandon Moreno threw punches and completely lost his balance. He just went a stumbling and a fumbling, and then shrugged at Figueiredo. What are you gonna do?
Bad legs and a swollen eye. He's starting to have a rough go.
Yeah, I'm sure this is not how Brandon Moreno thought this fight was gonna go.
Definitely not, especially not from his composure and attitude in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, for sure.
And from the fact that Figueiredo looked in the late second and early third round that like he didn't want any part of a striking fight with Moreno, all of a sudden now he's happy to be on his feet.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think Moreno got the better of Figueiredo there. Figueiredo started to go down. They quickly regained his composure. I couldn't tell if that last one from Figueiredo connected or not because they had it at the reverse angle. The cameraman. Brandon Moreno looks like he's getting tired in there.
Yeah, he looks exhausted. And it looked like even on that one where Figueiredo took like the half knee, that it was more that he hooked his leg and pulled his leg out rather than he connected with a good shot.
Yeah, for sure.
Moreno looking more tentative in his blocks now too.
I'm not sure what the plan here at this point is.
I'm not sure either, because you'd think he could just take advantage. Like Moreno is clearly off balance. He's clearly not, the footwork's not there.
Okay, we finally lock up here at 1:35, and boom, into the fence they go. All right, Figueiredo, you should
finish this off. Finish it off now.
Well, not only just finish it off, but take him down. You have him against the fence. His legs look like they're getting close to shot.
We're not talking about Moreno 2 rounds ago where he just stood back up. Like, just take him down.
Right.
He'll be down.
Yeah, like go try a judo trip and muscle him down.
Yeah,
right now we just need him in the back of the thigh.
Yeah, the leg work here is fine, but like you got to think Moreno would just go down. If he just swept the leg, he'd go down. So
the odds have flipped. Now Figueiredo has the advantage at negative 165.
Yeah.
Up, Moreno trying to fight his way out of it, and he does. Figueiredo backs off.
Come on, man.
Not a good luck.
I mean, even if you get the win, you got to at least think your cornerman's like, you should have put him down a round and a half ago.
I'm wondering if he's going to end up giving this 4th round away. Moreno had more significant strikes in round 3, and they're about even here in round 4.
Okay. I mean, that last leg kick to the abdomen, it was pretty solid for a guy who looks like he can barely stand up.
Jesus Christ, now they're taunting each other. All right, this is it. This is the decider. How do you feel about round 4? Well said.
10-9 to Figueiredo, and I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, it's not decisive. It's not like, yeah, that was definitely his round.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time there. Like, again, especially with the new rules of mixed martial arts, where you're I don't know if encourage is the right word, but there is a very clear criteria for draw. Like, it shouldn't be as out of the ordinary that people seem to think it is. And I almost want to go draw in that round.
Not terrible call.
I need a little bit more from one of these guys, you know. I mean, I think if I had to pick one, maybe Figueiredo for that round, just because I think there were some moments there where Brandon Moreno looked like he was in trouble, but he would just as quickly get out of him again.
Well, you look at the lockup on the cage. There's no reason he should have been able to get out of that. Figueiredo should have been able to capitalize.
All right, last round.
All right, go big or go home.
All right, Kevin Ioli has it 38-38. Ryan Frederick has it 38-38.
Gross.
Tied up going into round 5. So everyone's got it 2-2. Oh, Brandon Moreno with the takedown. Yeah, buddy.
Coming in.
Hey, this isn't boxing. You can do that. All right, now let's see some work in there. Don't let Figueiredo back up, man. Use that 5 minutes.
Yes.
As I say that. Figueiredo is all arms and feet.
Jesus.
He's able to just kick himself out.
Yeah. Moreno looks exhausted, but I mean, he looks like he's more in the fight this round than he did last round.
Yeah, for sure.
Leaning.
Gut punch there from Brandon Moreno.
Yeah, I'm not understanding Figueiredo's Billy Jack. Look at my hand and I'll slap you with the other one. Like,
whoa. Big miss there from Brandon Moreno. Figueiredo makes him pay for it, kind of.
Well, not as much as he should have.
No. And the odds have shifted back to Moreno, by the way. But this is
hanging around.
The seesaw battle between our two flyweight contenders.
He's hanging around. Neither one of them can contain a takedown. Moreno should be unconscious.
I'll tell you, I understand striking in mixed martial arts is not boxing, but sometimes, man, these guys just throw such ugly punches. It's no wonder boxers make fun of them.
Well, they're all haymakers. Like they're.
Well, I mean, like every time I've taught my son and my daughter how to throw a punch, I talk them about waist movement and and shifting your shoulders and bending your arm. Meanwhile, these guys, are like throwing punches like they're built like Ken dolls.
Yeah.
No, like they don't move their arms at all.
Like you can't keep your arms inside your body. You have to throw from halfway across the building.
Like you're throwing a wing, not an arm. And like I get it, but there's a good punch there from Figueiredo, and it knocked Brandon Moreno on his ass. Head kick, boom. But Brandon Moreno, man, he's tougher than leather, hanging in there and fighting back. Good on you, Brandon Moreno. Make a fight out of it. Why don't you? Less than 2 minutes left on the clock. Someone's got to make it happen here. Make it happen, somebody. You've got less than 2 minutes to try to make yourself look like the favorite of this round and possibly win this fight.
I mean, I think those last couple of big blows is going to give it to him if it's that close, but come on, just finish it off.
See, I wish Figueiredo would follow up those leg kicks with something else. Make them a part of a combination. I mean, unless you're going to try to swing through and take him down that way, like just sweep the legs out from under him. He's throwing good, effective kicks, and they're clearly damaging up the leg, but he doesn't follow up with anything, and they don't produce a takedown of any kind.
Listen, I'm sure Herzog's confused on why this match is still going on. Standing back there in the black shirt going like, I guess this is fine.
Jason Herzog with the boyish good looks. He's up past his bedtime.
It's an evil.
30 seconds on the clock.
Here we go.
Last 30 seconds of your life, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
Big flourish. Come on now.
Hey, Brandon Figueiredo with a couple of rights there, and they're just roadhouse. Nothing's missing. Nothing's hitting. Nothing's missing. Everything's going everywhere. Oh, Brandon Figueiredo. Brandon Moreno, rather, keeping up the pressure. See, he listened. He knew what's what.
Good man.
And they both think
I'll take it.
Because, of course, they do.
And they both think they won. I mean, this was supposed to be the decisive match, 3 out of the 2, right? And it was far from decisive for anybody.
Maybe this will be like Pacquiao and Marquez. Just keep fighting. We'll end up with a 4th one.
I mean, later at this point, you need a 4th one if you're gonna say that you're the better of the 2.
Oh, goodness. All right.
What do you think?
I'm checking in on Twitter here to see what the feedback is, see how everyone else called it.
I think Figueiredo sneaks by, but far from deserved.
Definitely not dominant.
Definitely
not as dominant as I would have liked. I mean, it was a good fight. A lot of positive feedback here on Twitter. Yeah, people are already calling for a fourth one.
Yep, agreed.
Hey, man, you know what? They kept in each other's faces. It was a seesaw battle. It was an absolute, worth the 25-minute watch for sure.
No one gave up.
A&A MMA is calling it 48-47 Figueiredo. I have a sneaking suspicion that's what a lot of people are gonna be calling it, 48-47.
Poish.
Long live the flyweight division. Sure.
I mean, if you're Moreno and you lose your belt on a 1-point decision, bunk. That's class 1 bunk.
I guess you just keep doing this.
You go and get it back, I guess.
Do it until one of them retires. We have 149.48 on Twitter for Moreno. At least one. Robert Winfrey with the wishy-washy. He says 3-2 either way is perfectly acceptable. Fun little fight. Yeah. I say make it a draw.
I mean, I think you can't make it a draw because Moreno he got some takedowns, but he gets no knockdowns.
All right, here we go. Brandon Figueiredo, yeah. I keep calling him Brandon. Yep, Figueiredo won. 48-47 all across the board.
Agreed.
All right. Perfectly nice little opener here as far as your main and co-main. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It's why we're here, Daniel Lasby. Don't you understand?
2 buckets of concrete.
I am here for heavyweight action. That is why we're doing this. These flyweights were a nice little hors d'oeuvre, but now bring on the meat.
I'm actually looking at the odds of the heavyweight match, and I'm a little surprised that Gane is the favorite.
Gane's the favorite?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So Pat Mullen weighing in from my little group of podcasters on Facebook. He says that's a bad call. He had it 49-46, 48-47 for Moreno. What do you think about that, Dan Lasby?
I can't give it to him. I mean, listen, I give the kid a lot of spunk for staying in there. He hung around to the very end of it, but other than a couple of nice takedowns and no quit in it, and he did have a couple of good breaks. There's no point where he knocked Figueiredo down. There's no point where he clearly dominated Figueiredo. He had those takedowns. He didn't capitalize them. I can't say that he took enough of that fight to say that he was ever in control of it.
I think Pat's at a bar right now, so I was gonna quick send him the link to jump in and defend his position, but he's busy.
That's all good, Buck.
That's fine. So that's Pat. Let's see what else we got here on Twitter. All right. Stay tuned. Sports had Moreno with the win. See, This is going to be one of those ones where people are going to be arguing about it for a while.
Sure. I mean, it was close, very much so. I totally agree with that.
It was a very close fight.
I think Moreno's arguing his own point in the corner.
So Guile or Gale 28 on Twitter says, "Dear UFC, cancel the 125 division and just have these two fight it out forever."
It's just the two of them. There's no division, just two guys flipping the ball back and forth
in the fight forever division. All right, we have people now. Here we go. here's the bad takes on Twitter portion of our evening. Moreno got robbed. I don't think there's a robbery here.
Yeah, it's not like Figueiredo ran away with it.
No, I mean, like I said, Robert's whole thing was like it could have gone either way.
Sure, I'll give you that. I would give it could go either way.
Robert Winfrey weighing in saying we need a fourth fight. It's the Marquez Pacquiao feud of MMA. Let's go 4.
I mean, if you want to say you're the decisive champion, you got to have better than a 1-point victory.
Look, is there anybody else? And I want to hear from the people listening. We've had some fun interactions with Robert and our good friend Jason Teasley, but I want to know from the rest of you that are listening, is there anybody at flyweight that you feel like deserves a title shot right now that we can't do this again for
Joe
a
Rogan
time? Joe Rogan and his horse tranquilizers.
Yep.
Right. So, I mean, it's not like, it's not like some of these other ones where there's like this long line going out the door to the left of like, we have to move the division on. Like, is there anyone really at flyweight at this point where you're like, but what about Steve? No one listens to Pete. No, there is no Steve and there is no Pete.
Steve and Pete don't exist.
Yeah. All right. Let's see if we can find some more hot takes on Twitter here as we move out of this fight and into the main event, the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world between Hollywood star Francis Ngannou. Did you know that Francis Ngannou has been in a couple of movies?
I did not.
Yeah.
What movies is he in?
Well, he's in the upcoming Jackass.
Of course he is.
He's in Jackass Forever, punching somebody in the dick.
Oh, like that's true. I actually did see that trailer.
Yep. I'm going to take my son to go see that because, yes, he is only going to be 8 years old. And yes, it's rated R. But really, who didn't see rated R movies when they were in elementary school? I know I did.
Especially Jackass.
Yeah.
Nobody's going home and electrocuting themselves in a bathtub full of alligators.
It says don't do that. It says right at the beginning.
Do that, so nobody's doing it.
Don't be dumb and do that with your dumb little friends. My son knows better. We watched the first Jackass. As a matter of fact, in about a week or so, the week before Jackass comes out, we did, back when it was supposed to be out in October, my son and I did an alternative commentary for the first Jackass movie. And my son was definitely of the mindset of it's fun to laugh at the stupid people, but I don't want to be the stupid people. A lot of insight on a 7-year-old.
I mean, Steve-O has made a career out of it, man.
Oh, Steve-O. Hey, look, Steve-O has more money, presumably more money than I ever will. Lighting himself on fire and inhaling wasabi and whatnot.
I'm sure he had more money, lost it all, and still has more money than I will ever see.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of that money is up his nose. Or in his arms.
It's wasabi money. That's the wasabi money.
It's wasabi money. I mean, look, and he is free to do whatever with his wasabi money.
That's correct. There's only 26 fighters actually in the flyweight division.
Okay.
Versus an average of 81 in every other division.
Oh, look who's there. It's Mike Tyson. Are we still pulling for the Logan Paul Mike Tyson?
1,000,000%. I'm not even pausing.
Oh, look, there it is.
And I will be excited when it's his daughter that knocks the Logan boy out.
Hey, speaking of Francis Ngannou, you see there's a commercial they're playing?
Yeah. Here it is.
Yeah, we have a trailer for Jackass Forever.
I don't want that man to punch me anywhere, let alone in my genitalia.
I mean, how much money are we talking about?
You have a kid already, so there is the benefit of that. I don't know that it's going to be enough because there's multiple other stunts that you're doing.
Well, I think if the conversation is how much money would we have to pay you to have Francis Ngannou punch you anywhere? I mean, I think anything north of $1 million is fine.
Okay, and they have to cover your medical expenses, like the reconstruction surgery.
Yes. $1 million plus medical expenses.
Yeah, in Canada, we'll put your nether regions back together for free, but if you're going to do it in the States, you need to have that covered.
Yeah, depending on what part of the states, they might actually, my insurance might not even cover it. So you're saying a large heavyweight fighter knocked your head clean off? Yes. That feels like elective surgery. You don't need your head attached.
That's pretty elective.
Right. Here in the state of Texas, we carry our heads around. What do you think?
Oh, no, wait. In Texas, that's the one place they're totally rebuilding it, and they're making it bigger.
Yes. It's like, well, we're not going to reattach your head. We'll build you a robot body, though, and you can be a cyborg. All right. I am once again going to take a time out here. I shall be back in a moment. I will leave you in the capable hands of Dan Lasby.
I am currently looking to see if they're following the follow-up on the flyweight, if there is anyone else that's even close to challenging for that. And I don't see anybody that's in that position right now. Maybe Doskolchuk? But it seems like match 4 is probably the way to go. Match 4, the way to go, unless you bring in someone super exciting. Maybe Jack Black. He's going to have to lose a lot of weight, a considerable amount of weight. But he did play a wrestler in Nacho Libre. So he's going to have some multiple skills. And like Pereira, he's going to dance and he's going to sing a lot. So it's still going to be entertaining. That's what I think. If you have comments on that and you think that's something that you would A, love to see, or B, not love to see, or C, like to see Mark recreate with some sort of visual effects, comment in the chat. Make it happen. I don't think that he sleeps at any point anyway, so I'm sure that he can find somebody in his multiple friends to make that happen. As we follow up towards the final fight of the night, the heavyweights, Mark's favorite part. Oh, maybe I should ask him if he's reviewed Death Clock. Mark, have you reviewed any of the Death Clock series? Oh, you don't have your headset on yet. I'll catch you when you get your headset on.
Here I am.
Did you watch any of the Death Clock cartoon? Have you reviewed that yet?
I have watched Death Clock. I've seen Death Clock in concert, as a matter of fact.
Wicked.
Yes, it was that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's got to be like worlds collide kind of situation.
It was an interesting experience. I've actually seen him twice. And what they do is they have the one guy, they have his backing band, but then they project the cartoon over his head.
Amazing.
And you're like basically encouraged to just watch the cartoon as they play. It's a lot of fun. And here on the Metal Hammer of Doom, I think actually our very, 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 very first Metal Hammer of Doom review that we ever did was for the third Death Clock album.
Wicked.
We're on it here at the Radulich and Broadcasting Network.
You really are. Like I was mentioning while you were gone, I volunteered you for a few things. We'll see if they come up in the chat. And if not, then they will never be spoken of again. But I'm pretty sure that you never sleep since you do have a family and full-time job and I think I'm keeping track with 127 different programs that you're running at any one time.
That was funny, actually, because so I've been podcasting since 2006. I was on Blog Talk Radio from 2006 until I think 2018. Then we switched to Spreaker. Then from 2018 to I think 2020, I had my own feed, but I was sharing content with W2M. And then I finally was like, this is stupid. Why do I have content in two different places? So like, why don't I just go on to W2M strictly and, I'll pay the cost of the exorbitant unlimited fee that they charge you. But that means I have like a backlog of about 2012, 2011 to 2017, 5-6 years of content that never made it to this feed. So like that Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll season 1, that's not something that ever aired before. So Robert Winfrey with a wisecrack. We refer to that as the dark times.
Proper thing, Robert. Proper thing.
Yeah, there are some shows where the audio is a little sketch. Might be needing of an edit. Anyway, the point being is like it looks like I have 197 shows, but I really only record maybe 3 to 4 times live a week, and the rest is just re-airs of stuff, or in some cases stuff that is currently available, but there was never a web page for it. I call it a re-air, but it's basically like, oh look, it's on the website for the first time, but the audio has always been there.
Sure.
So yes, we have a podcast. We have an available podcast in some form or fashion every day, but some of it's new and some of it's old.
Sure.
Though I will tell you, there are weeks where I do record every single day of the week, straight on through Sunday to Saturday.
Yeah.
This was one of those weeks.
I mean, my wife loves me a lot. She would love me less if I was recording that much. Unless I was being sponsored by Crypto.com, which apparently every fighter of the night is.
Well, while we are waiting for Ciryl Gane to get into the cage and then UFC champion proper Francis Ngannou, let me ask you a question in 50 words or less. What are you listening to these days, Dan Lasby?
I listen to a lot of forensic shows.
What music are you listening to?
What kind of music am I listening to?
Yes.
I also listen to a vast variety. So there's always some Stan Rogers, which is some nice Canadian folk.
Mm-hmm.
There's some Clean Bandit, which is a UK electro-pop group. There is always some form of metal. Actually, I just downloaded somebody new. Who was it? Who was I just listening to? I'm going to bring it up here. And I will tell you, I'm 100% one of those people that has Fozzie's Judas at the top of my playlist at all times, just in case.
Fozzie's got a new album coming out this year. We actually have that scheduled to review at some point. Also, the Macho Man's rap album the week of WrestleMania.
Yeah, for sure.
Your man, Hogan. And you can find all of those things on Amazon Music Unlimited. Of which we are giving away a free 30-day trial of the Amazon Music Unlimited service. If you head on over to getamazonmusic.com/W2M network, which is a link provided in the description of this podcast, complete the sign up process, you will get yourself a free 30 days to stream all the music you want, including the Macho Man's rap album where he told Hogan to be a man, or all the folk music that Daniel Lasby is listening to. Maybe you like musicals. Maybe you like Death Clock. Who knows? There's only a billion genres and subgenres out there, and Amazon Music has them all. So click the link, try out the 30 days. It helps us out. It keeps the gears rolling on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network. And who doesn't love free? I love free. Everyone loves free. So give it a shot. And if you don't like it for some strange reason, you can always cancel. No fuss or muss. That's Amazon Music Unlimited. Sorry, that's getamazonmusic.com/W2M network.
Yeah, man, you're going to rediscover Tool's 10,000 Days and never cancel.
Not a huge fan of Tool, I got to be honest with you.
What? They are musical geniuses.
I know.
Hold on, wait a minute.
I might be the only white male on Earth born after 1976 that doesn't like Tool, but it's true.
You just want to be special, that's all.
And it's me. Everybody likes Ghostbusters. I like Dummy. So, I'm gonna watch Mandy.
You are. That's super true.
That is an aspect of my personality that I've been leaning into lately that is driving Chris Bailey like crazy. He's like all the popular things, like the things that make the vast majority of people happy. And I'm like, I'm gonna be French. I'm gonna have a sandwich.
I mean, listen, I will say this. A crazy Chris Bailey is very entertaining. So
a crazy Chris Bailey is wild and woolly fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's talk about this main event. Francis Ngannou, we talked about this at the top of the show. Let's go back over. He's got the one loss prior to the UFC, but since coming into the UFC, he just cut through all of his competition, all finishes leading up to his first shot at the UFC heavyweight title. He KO'd or TKO'd or submitted everyone that's gotten his path, not the least of which was Andrei Arlovski, and damn near killed Alistair Overeem in December of 2017. Yeesh. 1:42 into the first round. Just wrecked him, damn near killed him. But then he lost the decision to Stipe Miocic, And he lost a decision to all hot balls himself, Derek Lewis, which was a fascinating affair at UFC 226. And then he got back in his winning ways where he once again KO'd or TKO'd everyone that got in his way. Curtis Blaze, Cain Velasquez, JDS, current AEW superstar JDS, mind you, Jairzinho Rosenstrike, and then finally he KO'd my man, my poor bastard, Stipe Miocic on March 27th, 2021 to win the UFC heavyweight title, and this is his first defense of same. And on the opposite side, we have Ciryl Gane, who came into the UFC on August 10th, 2019 in Uruguay, where he won by submission. His next fight, he won by submission. Then he won a decision. And then he beat Junior Dos Santos with the TKO and elbow at UFC 256. He followed that up with 2 unanimous decisions. And then finally TKO Derek Lewis in the 3rd round of their UFC 265 affair. So once again, I say unto thee, while they both have good punching power,
yep,
and we could be in for Roadhouse here, I don't think you want to go punch for punch with the guy who everyone's saying could out-punch Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, listen, man. If you knock a guy out, that's one thing. If you knock a guy out and he's lying there with his eyes still open, that's a completely different kettle of fish.
If you hit a guy and his face falls off,
yeah,
maybe adopt a different strategy is what I'm saying.
He hit you so hard that you were like, I don't remember having a face, so
mother. So my advice to Ciryl Gane, my expert mixed martial arts analysis, is protect your neck and just Wu-Tang is for the children. Protect your neck.
Man on the mat and call it a day.
Yeah, just run across that ring, jump on his legs, and hope to God you don't get knocked out in the process.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah, I think Ciryl Gane really does need to take this to the mat. But, getting there is going to be half the issue. The other side of this is Ciryl Gane. Francis Ngannou. Maybe he's tentative tonight. Maybe he's not. He's looking for that big knockout punch from this big fella, and he doesn't go in for the kill. Robert Winfrey with his expert analysis saying Francis Ngannou is terrifying for 7.5 minutes.
Sure.
After that,
I think we talked about that at the top of the night, that if Gane can take him the distance, his chances get immediately a lot better.
That's what I'm saying. Like, having seen Francis Ngannou fight before, yeah, sure. What everyone focuses on is how terrifying his punching power is. But I've also seen the guy kind of, sit there and sort of wait for the other guy to make a move so that he can counter. And then it's like watching bread toast.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing here? And he might let this one slip away if he doesn't go after Ciryl Gane early. And I think that's the key to victory for Francis Ngannou, is that he needs to end this in the first 2 rounds.
Yep, agreed.
Robert Winfrey doesn't think he can win a decision. I think we are on the same page.
Yeah, man.
Francis Ngannou looking very loose and relaxed in there.
Is Ngannou wearing knee pads?
He's wearing the braces. He's got, like the old, what do you call it? Sid Vicious, used to wear one on his arm.
Yep. I mean, if I'm on the other side of the ring, all the more reason for me to want him to be on the mat.
That's what I tell my children. Protect yourself at all times. My daughter likes to do that. She likes to bonk me in the head, and at which point I just punch her right in the kidneys. And I say, protect yourself at all times, Billy.
Yeah, you got to teach those lessons young.
Yep. Don't leave your body open. Parenting, hashtag.
Parenting 101.
Yep.
Don't take a body shot.
Yep. Check yourself at all times. All right, here we go. The main event. Our heavyweight clash between Francis Ngannou and Ciryl Gane.
All righty.
All right. Francis Ngannou. All right, we go. Look at that. Ciryl Gane going right for the takedown. I was about to say Francis Ngannou was sort of like inching towards him. He's just like, oh, he's getting in close for those, for that close infighting, trying to make contact, get a big punch. And Ciryl Gane said, not today, Satan.
Yep, strong strategy.
And now Ciryl Gane is fighting Francis Ngannou against the fence. And then he's not. And they circle out. And they're in the center of the ring again. Ciryl Gane not wanting to provide Francis Ngannou with a stationary target. Doing a lot of bouncing.
Smart.
Yeah, you got to keep it moving, man. Get on your bicycle. Francis Ngannou with a body shot. And then they are tied up against the fence.
I think that's smart. I think you keep it so that he can't get a clean strike. You got to take little chops.
There was talk of a Francis Ngannou Tyson Fury boxing match. Can you imagine?
No. That is just the freezer at a butcher shop throwing itself at each other.
All right, they're still muscling each other around, but they're off the fence now. All right, so Francis Ngannou was controlling the head there for a moment. Those things were not looking good for Ciryl Gane. Ciryl Gane separates now. You look at him, he starts. Francis Ngannou inches forward, Ciryl Gane inches back. And they are right back up against the fence again. But Ciryl Gane's opening up on. Sorry, Francis Ngannou is opening up on Ciryl Gane.
That's not protecting the neck.
No.
You let him push against your head, and then you let you punch you. Come on, man.
For Pete's sake, Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to mess with. Body shots there for Francis Ngannou. That'll take the wind right out of you. I do not like the look in Ciryl Gane's eyes.
No, he's hungry. Ngannou looks hungry. Gane looks afraid.
Look like he's looking for the door. All right, it's good spin kick there, lands in the abdomen. Francis Ngannou just walks through it. Knee from Gane. Sneaky left there from Gane on Ngannou.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. You got to stay in tight, I think. I think him backing away is a danger play unless he's planning on doing that for the next 2 rounds.
Yeah, you give Ngannou too much space, and he's going to be able to find the distance and knock you stupid. You're going to lose math.
That looked like Roy Jones Jr. when he got that first punch from Tyson in that redo match. He was like, "Oh no!"
No. All right, they tie up in the center again. Both looking to control the head. And Ngannou just muscles Gane into the fence.
Yeah.
Ooh, and Ngannou looked like he might be going for a takedown and then maybe follow up with some ground and pound. And that's the thing. You do not want to be on the ground getting hit in the head.
Well, if you pin, you can't dance away.
No. And I'm wondering if that might be Ngannou's strategy at this point. Is like, you know what? It's going to be a lot easier for me to hit you if you're laying flat on your back.
If you want to go down, let's do it together.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if he just doesn't fear Gane's ground game, which I don't know. That's a wise strategy. But again, it's not. I don't know how effective Gane's going to be in the jiu-jitsu game when he's being punched into unconsciousness.
Right. It's Robert's point of that first 7.5 minutes. Whatever you got better be the world.
They're still tied up, and Ngannou's using his knees.
He's bringing a couple of knees in there, and Gane doesn't look like he looks like he's being manhandled a little bit. Like he's not letting himself go down, but
front kick from Gane. We have less than 5 seconds left. I think that's an easy round for Ngannou.
For sure. I think Gane's doing some mental math on whether or not the paycheck of this was worth it. You
never know. We've had some crazy upsets in the UFC.
That's
My God,
true.
There were fights that Andrei Arlovski should have lost that somehow, I mean, we're talking like late era, like when I was watching Andrei Arlovski, he absolutely should have lost and somehow pulled out a win.
So if Gane gets out of this next round, his chances improve, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, you can already see Francis Ngannou kind of heavy breathing there. I mean, this guy is like his biggest weakness is his stamina.
Yep.
But he's carrying around a lot of muscle, so I'm not entirely surprised by that.
They're both big boys, but when you see them side by side, like the definitive muscle structure of Ngannou is heavier.
So Robert gave that one to Gane. 10-9
Okay.
Gane. I appreciate Ngannou's patience, but he's struggling to find offense.
Okay.
We'll see. A round or two, it might not matter.
I don't know the stats on how many rounds is the top number of rounds that Ngannou's gone.
I like how like the producer of this broadcast is like putting off putting up tweets that are just "let's go." Like, what insight? How brilliant! Really provide some nice color for the fight.
He handed it off. He's like, I don't really want to do the Twitter right now. Somebody here, you.
I'm gonna put my 10-year-old nephew in charge of this.
Let's go.
He used an emoji. Click.
Different strategy for Gane now, trying to bring him in.
Yeah, Gane dropping his hands to his waist and just kind of throwing lazy kicks, which is an interesting strategy.
It is.
All right, now he's picking up the intensity with the kicks there. See, Ngannou wants to lure Gane in and hit him with some stiff uppercuts. That's his bread and butter right there.
Yeah.
He wants Gane to step inside the phone booth, and that's when Ngannou is going to nail him with an uppercut.
He needs to cut off the cage. He needs to not give Gane that kind of space. Because you could tell, like, on his kicks back, his kicks are not nearly that technical proficiency, right?
So if Gane just took a kick to the abdomen, that made him think about what he's doing. So distance strikes. Ngannou 10, Gane 21. Gane clearly is trying to drag this out.
Yeah. He's hoping that he got the staying power to make Ngannou so tired that he can't throw those big hits.
Yeah, I mean, Rob gave him the first round, but he might even, but the judges, who knows what they did. So it's not an unreasonable thing to think that Gane, like, I'll just give away the first 2 rounds because I think the last 3, I can wear this guy down and win a decision. Like, he might not even be considering trying to finish Ngannou. He might be thinking win the later rounds. Spin kick there from Go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Spin kick there from Gane. Go ahead.
I'm surprised with Ngannou's power that when he does come in, that he doesn't bring his legs more into play. Like, he had some opportunities to knee the thighs up against the cage. He's had a couple of opportunities to get some body shots while they were close, and he didn't take them. I mean, right now I'm giving this round to Gane. He's controlling the pace. He's not doing anything huge, but he's also not allowing Ngannou to have his style of fight.
Yeah. And this is what I was afraid of with Ngannou. All of the UFC highlight packages is him killing bitches, but sometimes the road to getting there is not particularly interesting. It's like, he's very slow and tentative and timid, and it's just not a very interesting fight to watch. And then he decapitates a guy. You're like, wait, what happened? That guy's head's gone. What happened in this fight? As we are down to the last minute of round 2.
I mean, Gane's pretty trusting on those spin kicks, how open he leaves himself.
Yeah. I know that's a thing in MMA. I know there's a reason for it. But like, as somebody who also watches a lot of boxing, I hate leaving your hands down by your waist like that.
Yeah, it's definitely big risk, big reward. But like, if I'm in Ngannou and he's come around on that spin kick, and it's not exceptionally fast, like he's not that kind of guy who it's that high spinning axe kick that comes out of nowhere. Like a good step on the inside, and your favorite kidney shot is happening in a hurry. I mean, I'm interested to see what happens if you go round 3 or round 4. Gane still kind of keeping that distance, and then Ngannou doesn't get completely gassed.
So round 2 is ending, and the camera was on Francis Ngannou as he was walking back to his corner. He is sweaty. He's breathing out of his mouth, and he looks frustrated.
He does look frustrated.
It's not a great look for your heavyweight champion.
And Gane's like just kind of hanging out by the cage.
Cool as the other side of the pillow, baby. Woo! Yeah, I might have been misreading because it looked like in his eyes, it looked like he was kind of like deathly afraid to be there. I think he was just like hyper alert now that I'm thinking back to it. Like, I have to be super aware of where this guy's body positioning is and what he's doing so that I don't take a full on battering ram to the face.
Yep.
Because I need to survive into the round we're in now, which is round 3.
Yep. That's fair.
And you know, like you see these guys, like they come into the cage and they're just beating their chest and they're all crazy and just like, I am ready to go. And then there's Francis Ngannou, who looks like he's lost. Like he woke up in the middle of a strange city somewhere. I don't know where I am.
He was in someone's room that he didn't know.
Robert Winfrey has it 2018. That's 2-0 for Ciryl Gane. He says Ngannou is too reactive, trying to counter the superior technician.
Yeah, he's definitely not the technician of the match. There's no doubt. Gane's got the upper hand on what he's
looks like a punch to the sternum there from Ngannou.
I mean, I think that's a smarter strategy. If you know you got a big shot, you don't need that knockout to the head. Start wearing down the body. Start wearing down the arms. Like, if you can't lift your arms, you can't choke a man out.
I mean, if Ciryl Gane can do it, like, as I say that, Ngannou with the big scoop slam, and now he's in half guard.
Oh, God.
Side control. Sorry, he's in side control. Say I don't watch this for a while, I forget stuff.
That's okay. You still remember more terms than I do. If I was Ngannou's team, though, regardless of the outcome of this match, you got to think that they're talking a secondary or a tertiary tool.
So there's a fun stat there that this is the first time in like 8 fights that Ciryl Gane's been on his back.
Interesting.
Yeah. So let's see what Ngannou can do in this position, because he's known for knocking the shit out of people, but you know, he also has a few submissions under his belt. So let's see if he can do some work and keep Gane on his back.
So like you could see how he's steering him around, even without having a full lock. He's steering Gane around.
This isn't looking good for Ciryl Gane. I think we might be inching towards the end here. He just gave up his back. Now he gave up his back because he was trying to stand up, but yeah, he's trying to find a way out of this position, and no matter where he turns, Ngannou beats him up upside the head.
And Ngannou is clearly the more powerful of the two.
Yeah,
not great.
They're standing up against the fence now, and Ciryl Gane has the underhook. I'm not sure who took who down there, but they both went face first.
Yeah, Gane's looking like he's back to tentative. He looks like he's less steering the conversation and more trying to stay alive.
Yeah.
Especially because on that last where they went down, Gane's arm was behind his back.
Yeah, that looked bad on his shoulder. I was wondering if like maybe he got like a separated shoulder there or something. So Francis Ngannou had trapped his left arm. He got that one loose, but now he's got his right arm underhooking Francis Ngannou. Let's see what he does with it. Oh, Ciryl Gane spins out.
Okay. Let's to fight another day.
How now, brown cow? Let's go. What are we going to do?
You got to change the pace here for sure.
Yeah, he lost this round so far. Big right hand from Ngannou. Oh, yeah. Ciryl Gane looks like he's starting to fall apart here. Like he's not throwing a lot of form.
No, his kicks are lazy. He's still trying to keep that distance. He's turning his back. I mean, I'm sure it took an exorbitant amount of energy to not give up while you were pinned on your back.
Ooh, big kick to the face there from Gane. Ngannou just kind of walks through it. Another takedown from Francis Ngannou. Oh, crap. He might be in trouble here. Gane's got the arm. Francis Ngannou fighting out a half guard. Let's see if he can pass into full mount. Well, he beat his record, according to the stats here. He has 2 takedowns. He's previously only had 1. But then again, he was knocking people into, the negative zone. All right, 2-1. If you go in off a Robert Winfrey scorecard and you gave the first rounds to Gane, you have to give that one to Francis Ngannou, and now it's 2-1.
Oh, for sure.
Love that slam there in the replay from Francis Ngannou. That was a pretty looking scoop slam.
He's a monster.
Okay, so watching the replay again, yeah, he tripped him and he had the arm trapped, and that looked ugly on the shoulder joint.
Oof. I mean, Gane used a lot of energy there. So, yes, Ngannou clearly only has a finite tank, but Gane spent a lot of power staying alive there. Ngannou does get gassed in the corner, though.
Consensus seems to be 2-1 Gane on Twitter right now. Somebody wants Francis Ngannou versus Jake Paul.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
sure, for the payday. Why not?
I say that as someone who just wants Jake Paul to get punched in the mouth. So,
yes, the She-Man Jake Paul Haters Club that you're the president of.
I am the president, the CEO, the chief operating officer.
The secretary,
the coffee boy.
All right, some pep in the step of Ciryl Gane here.
Came out decent. Ngannou does look tired. That's a sin.
Yeah, well, that's what Robert was saying in our chat here. He has a 29 Gane, and the wrestling is working for Ngannou, but his cardio isn't built for it.
Yep.
Which means, if you're Ngannou, then maybe pick up the pace a little bit more.
Try to end it.
Yeah. Like, don't let this guy take you into deep water and drown you. Yeah. You lose a title. And I'm not really loving a lot of what I see out of Gane, so it's like, well, I don't want him to lose his fight this way.
Gane threw himself out of the way to avoid that body shot.
Ah!
Please, God, no.
Gane just committing to those sort of, half-ass leg kicks.
Yeah. Which is like, it's surprising. I think it's so dangerous that sooner or later Ngannou only has to hit you once. If you leave yourself open that many times, he's going to know it's coming.
Oh, big right from Ciryl Gane, but Francis Ngannou made a sterner stuff, just walks through it, ties up Gane against the fence.
Yeah. The power game is clearly in Ngannou's favor.
For sure. Boom. Third takedown for a guy who has never been taken down in 8 fights.
Jesus.
That's going to be the story of this one. Like, whatever ends up happening, it's going to be like, Gane got taken down so many guys by a guy who's known for just knocking bitches into unconsciousness.
Yeah.
That's the technical term, by the way.
Yep. I felt it.
Yep.
I wrote it down in my book of scientist notes.
Half guard, full guard, side mount, full mount, knocking bitches out.
It's on his resume, I'm sure.
Yeah. I learned that when I was...
honestly, I would have thought on the ground game that Gane would have been able to reverse a bunch of Ngannou's moves.
Oh, look at that. Look at that from Gane. He reached back there and he grabbed the leg on Ngannou and got the trip. But all right, I like what I'm seeing from Ngannou here. He shifted positions. He's a little bit more on the front now. Takedown number 4. And Ciryl Gane now looks like he's getting tired. Like, this big-ass man is all over him, and he's not loving it. Oh, is he going to get the full mount? Ah! Do it! No, not yet, not yet. Come on, pass Ngannou. Like, I have no dog in the hunt. Whoever wins, it's fine. But, I'd like to see somebody definitively win.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I think I favor Ngannou because the odds were so against him, and for a champion, that I feel like that always sucks. But I will also definitely say this. I thought if they went to the mat, that Gane was going to just control this thing left, right,
yeah, that's not what's happening at all. Yeah. Ooh, that was close. So it looks like he had his knee off the mat just barely when Ngannou nailed him with the knee in the face.
Oh.
Yeah, that was by the skin of his teeth, too. Oh, he might be mounting him against the fence. Do it! Do it, Ngannou! Make him squeal, as they said on The Critic one episode. Yeah, big round for Francis Ngannou. Well, if you're playing the home game, if you had it 2 for the first 2 rounds for Gane, it's 2-2 now. All comes down to round 5.
Oh my gosh.
See, you never know with these mixed martial arts fights. You never know if it's going to be seconds or you're going to go the full 25. Like if I had said, "Oh, we're only going to do the main event," this might have been worth it. But, who knew? Who knew, that this wasn't going to open up with Francis Ngannou punching him in the mush and it's over?
I do love when it's unpredictable.
Yeah, for sure. We are down to the last round. And, hey, for those of you who've stayed with us on Twitter and YouTube and Twitch and Facebook, we really appreciate you. I know there are 1,000,001 live streams people are doing tonight on YouTube and Twitch. You chose to hang out with us, and we are appreciative. So we hope you'll come back for any number of our wrestling or boxing shows. Again, we've got the Keith Thurman fight in 2 weeks. We've got the Royal Rumble. We've got Elimination Chamber. So got a lot of fun stuff planned for 2022. Live streams Saturday nights. What are you laughing at?
That was your 1 o'clock in the morning setter there, my friend.
Oh, it's what?
The 22. What's the year? What's the year?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's all right. All right. Who's going to take this fifth round? Someone's got to pick up the pace here. See, if you're Francis Ngannou at this point, you felt this guy's power. Why not open up a little bit?
Yeah, I'm a little like I think that Ngannou got to feel at least good that he's been able to hold his own on the ground, and he's got to think that he can outpunch Gane. So,
all right, so Ciryl Gane got the single leg just now. Let's see what he does with it, because we've been talking all night and this fight that if Ciryl Gane was able to get to the ground, that he might actually pull out a victory. He might pull out a submission. Let's see what he does now. He's in the half guard. Yeah, Francis Ngannou starting to sit out. Ciryl Gane muscles him back to his back. Now let's see if Ngannou can fight off his back, though. Maybe Ciryl Gane walks into a triangle or something.
Yep.
Yep. Good move there good defense from Francis Ngannou, who's now trying to pass into mount.
Got a couple of headshots in there, too.
Yeah, he did. Francis Ngannou taking back control on the ground.
Hi-ya!
Oh, we're going for, I think, a heel hook. Oh, well, Ciryl Gane's got it. Uh-oh.
You could see him thinking about what he was going to do.
Yeah. That's very much like I practiced this. What do I do here?
I know I have a coach who tells me what to do. It's what? It's this.
Do I cut the red wire or the black wire? What do I do? That was that face he made when Ciryl Gane had his ankle was very much like, did I leave the iron on?
Yep, 100%.
All right. Oh, he passed in the full mount. Oh, Dan Lasby, he passed in the full mount. Mount.
Oh my God.
See what he does now.
It's the seesaw.
Okay, he's in half again. He doesn't have full. He had it there for a second, though, it looked like. This is all Ngannou right now.
He hasn't been on his back in the last how many fights?
He hasn't been dumped in 8 fights. He was dumped 4 and 5 times here tonight.
Jesus.
I mean, Ngannou's got it. At this point, he's won in the round.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Unless Ciryl Gane submits him, we're done here. Winner and still champion. Less than 2 minutes on the clock. Francis Ngannou working from half guard.
I think if you're Ngannou's team, you feel good about his ability to shift out of his comfort zone.
I mean, you mentioned GSP before. He's not one of my favorite fighters, but certainly you know he was a Hall of Fame fighter and one of the best in his time. And a lot of what he would do in situations like this is he would control you on the ground, which didn't make for a dynamic viewing experience for your casual fan, but it was effective. And that's what Francis Ngannou is doing right now. He's working. He's being effective. He's controlling. He's currently got his head in Ciryl Gane's arm, but he's been protecting his neck. No Wu-Tang joke aside. He's doing what needs to be done, and he's not making stupid mistakes.
Yep.
And now we're 20 seconds on the clock. I mean, at this point, unless he slips on a banana peel, winner and still champion, Francis Ngannou. Winner in Jackass Star.
Yep. And listen, and his power has been a testament. His ability to manhandle Gane when Gane has tried to get the upper hand on the ground has been
That's
different.
it. Between the 2 title fights, it's almost an hour of MMA action, solid MMA action between your heavyweights, your heaviest and your lightest, your heavyweights and your flyweights. Daniel Lasby, can you dig it?
Suck up.
So once again, as we wait for the final decision here, next Saturday, the Podsman and I doing the Royal Rumble from soup to nuts. The weekend after that is Keith Thurman versus Mario Barrios. That's a Fox pay-per-view. Dan Lasby and I will bring you that. Then we're going to skip a week. And then Daniel Lasby and I and maybe some friends will be doing the Elimination Chamber from Saudi Arabia. And then we'll see where life takes us from there.
Gane looks like his mother just told him he wasn't the favorite child.
You disappoint me.
Sorry, I always liked your sister more. Oh, and that replay on that full suplex is just amazing.
Hey, I missed this before when we were talking before the show. Jose Ramirez is fighting Jose Pedraza on ESPN March 4th. So if you're not gallivanting around the globe like you do, I might hit you up for that one.
Yeah,
that'll be an easy Friday night show.
Friday night fight.
Yeah, Friday night fight, and you won't have to pay for it. It'll be on ESPN.
I do like that.
Yeah, I'm sure. So Robert Winfrey with some pearls of wisdom here. He says sitting for that heel hook was a boneheaded decision and probably gave the fight away just right out the round, man. I guess he's saying that he thinks Ciryl Gane might have won that one, and I don't think that's the case. But all right, here we go with the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. The judges score the contest.
I mean, Gane looks like he thinks he's lost. I mean, Gane looks like he won, and that's what I'm.
46 for the winner by unanimous decision. And still,
yeah, that's what I thought. All right, as we said was going to happen. Francis Ngannou with the unanimous decision, 3 rounds to 2. Daniel Lasby, this is your first UFC live stream. How are you feeling, brother?
Good, man. I mean, you always send me away with more homework to do. What's going on? You talk about the few miscues you have after watching UFC for a while, and I'm like, there's a triangle in there somewhere.
That looks like a submission. Fantastic.
Good. That is uncomfortable.
That seems like it hurts. All right, so that's it. That's our coverage here. I've gone through my schedule over the past 3 hours. I don't need to do any more plugs. If you found us on Twitter or Twitch, give us a like and a follow. We have a Facebook page, W2M, Radulich and Broadcasting Network has a Facebook page. Give us a like and a follow. If you listen to us on traditional audio, whatever podcast catcher you have, that we're on it, just type in W2M Network and you will find our W and our 2 and our M. Please give us a rating on Apple Podcasts. That would be greatly appreciated. The higher, the more ratings, the more positive stars, the more people will find us. And if you liked us, don't you want to share us with the rest of the world? Don't you? Don't you love us? Speaking of loving us, Daniel Lasby, where can we find you and what are you doing these days?
I am working my day job like a sometimes normal human being, and I have a wrestling musical that is called Sunset Flip, which we're about to go into workshopping for shortly. So hopefully I'll be able to share that with someone somewhere in the near future.
All right. Do you want to give any of your socials out, or you're like, no, I don't want to be social?
I do want to get my socials out, but not yet because I don't do a very good job of doing anything with them. So let me figure that out first.
Okay. All right. Royal Rumble this Saturday with the Podsman, and then me and Lasby back again for the Fox pay-per-view, Keith Thurman versus Mario Barrios. Until then, everybody, thanks again for hanging out with us. For Daniel Lasby, I'm Mark Radulich. Be well, be safe, and behave.